Blam, blam. There we go. Oh man,
Are we
all the
live?
cameras are not
Are
in
we
the right
good?
place.
Oh my
Everything is
god.
going
We're live?
terribly. Yeah, we're live.
I don't believe
Happy
it.
2020, everyone.
Happy
2022. It's
20
2022.
Oh, what year is it?
Who cares?
Which way is, do I put my face to be?
Time
Hang on,
is
I'm fixing
meaningless.
it. Just
Happy new stream.
wait.
Oh my gosh, are we all a little bit? Hold on, now I need to.
Uh-huh.
Wait, just keep talking.
I'm trying to get lined up with my
hello,
camera. Hello.
stream.
Someone vamp.
Hello.
Us being quite late was actually my fault. As I confessed in chat, I was like, hey, my Wordle today is really difficult, and everyone was like, oh shit, the Wordle. Let's do a Wordle. And it was difficult, so it took a while. How is your New Year's and your Christmas or holiday celebrations non-denominational?
You're gonna adjust
getting
your
further
webcam
away.
and it's gonna be
I know.
changed.
I'm getting further away. Here, I'll lean back. There we go. Okay.
You're gonna have to remain there for the rest of the stream.
Wait, am I going the wrong way again?
No, because I'm
no
changing
frame of
it.
reference.
You just no. The cameras will be moved. Put yourself where you want to be, and the camera will move to you.
Can you believe I spent 4 years working on camera, learning how to do this,
At this very moment, no.
and my producer is telling me to cut it out and sit still?
Honestly, it's what half of my time is just sitting there being like, stay still, but mentally
Inching
because
the cameras over a little bit. There we go.
pretty much.
Okay, now my chair is located, so if I rotate, then it's not going anywhere too far.
All right.
That's good. There we go. We're in frame.
Okay,
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Don't move with the chair.
It's gonna change in 2
Hi,
seconds.
Happy New Year. Happy 2022, everyone. Welcome back to the Chocolatiers. My name is D. I am the Dungeon Master. It's been a hot minute since we have played Dungeons and Dragons with the Chocolatiers, and we are very happy and excited to be back and play once again. And yeah, hop in. Thanks for waiting for us to go live for like 20-30 minutes at this point.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
Yes. Mistakes were made.
I-
Wordles were made. Wordles were made.
Words were wordled.
Words were wordled. But yes, we're getting everything up and running. We're recovering on the fly. Good start
It's
to the
seamless.
new year.
You can't tell.
Exactly.
We're setting
yeah, so why don't
realistic
we go ahead and-
expectations for 2022. That's just
Yeah, exactly. Set
yeah.
the bar low so you can surpass expectations. Why don't we go
Okay.
ahead and run by everybody who are here and do some introductions. Real quick, Aery CatRoulette is unavailable today, which is why we have a blank spot within our stream right now. But we're gonna weekend at Aery's it, and hopefully everything will be fine.
But not
and
because
meanwhile-
Aery is dead,
not because Aery.
which was my concern the first time that title was brought up.
Surprise.
more of like the AFK player character. Yes, let's go ahead and run through some introductions. Oriana, kick us
Hi.
off.
I've already been talking a lot of shit today. It's because I had a birthday while we were off, and I am now an even old woman, so I can't help it. I have to ramble.
Am I older than you? How old are you?
I'm 33.
You're 3 years older than I am. Just barely.
Oh yeah, that's right, because your last birthday you made it into your 30s, and now we can all make fun of BurrowsRed for being the baby, because she's the only one who's not in their 30s.
Oh.
You, all right? I also happen to be the one who apparently is proclaimed the most responsible. So get fucked.
Yeah.
I play Oriana. She is a war cleric tiefling. She is very angry all the time for many reasons, some of them unreasonable, and I love her.
Awesome. Eminence.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I play Eminence. She is a Pact of the Chain tiefling warlock, I'm pretty sure. She's definitely a warlock and she's definitely a tiefling. She's great. She is also always unreasonable, but in slightly different ways. Yeah, I love her.
Excellent. Natalie.
Hi, I exist on the internet. It's a surprise, I know, to most of you. I'm apparently the only one who's not 30, so let's all regale in that, shall we? But yeah, Natalie is a path of the ancestral.
They're gonna kick us off the internet. We need
Well,
not
then-
to piss off Burrows. They have all the buttons.
You sweet summer child.
I regret to inform you, Chocolatiers will not be returning next. Not joking, completely. I am Natalie, path of the ancestral guardian. I was about to say sorcerer. I'm not a sorcerer. A barbarian. She wishes she was a sorcerer, I'm sure, in another life. So then she could truly cast axe. That's it. I exist.
Would you like to take a level on sorcerer?
Nah, because I can't do spells while raging. Warlock would probably be better because then you only have 2 spells, so then I could just be like, bam bam, and then rage. But
Or ba-blam, ba-blam.
ba-blam, ba-blam. Correct.
And then you're good. Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. Yeah, once again, I'm D, I'm the Dungeon Master. Let's go ahead and hop into our episode of the Chocolatiers. It's been a minute since we have played. The last time we saw our intrepid Chocolatiers, they were trying to investigate a number of disappearances located at the Pot, a rural hot springs town far to the southeast. When the party arrived, they noticed that things were a little bit odd and strange, more so than usual at the Pot. The party did some preliminary investigations and found that many individuals had been disappearing from Ridden's Dredge, a sanitarium just outside of town. Sanatorium. The party decided to do some digging and investigating, found out a whole bunch of different names, a rough list of the number of people who had disappeared. They met Thrinarv Largegut, a half giant who helped sort of inform them about the town and the city and its local landmarks. They did some rough scouting out of the area before finally returning to Ridden's Dredge at midnight with the plans to stay the night and replicate the same way in which the rest of the people of Ridden's Dredge had disappeared in the past. Upon staying overnight, there was a brief rumbling in the ground, whereupon they suddenly found themselves whooshing, falling, flying, landing on their feet back in Ridden's Dredge in the middle of the day. And not only that, but surrounded by all of the people who had gone missing. Some brief investigation seemed to suggest that each of the people around them had no recollection of how they ended up Ridden's Dredge. The party completed a number of different investigations, heading over to the Spore Walls and spending some time with 2 Kuotoa, Klibdulugut, and Glibdugloop. No, sorry.
I don't think we ever
Glubglog.
got their names.
You never asked.
Which
We couldn't ask.
right.
It is a little bit more difficult when they don't speak common. They headed out to the Grand Prismatic Springs, initially to find out what exactly was happening, but secondly, just to explore the area where they met a number of vacationing adventurers. Upon returning back to Ridden's Dredge for the evening, they discovered that Aery, one of the individuals at Ridden's Dredge, had died and had been killed by Akbanak, another patient of the sanatorium. Shortly thereafter, the ground erupted beneath their feet in an enormous earthquake, killing each of them before they suddenly woke back up at 4 p.m. at the Ridden's Dredge, surrounded by all of the people who had previously gone missing. Some quick questioning discovered that nobody at that point knew about Aery, who Aery was, who they were, where they might be. They seem to have no recollection of who this person was after they disappeared in their death. The party then split up two members of the party went back to the Grand Prismatic Spring, where they got a potion of underwater breathing and investigated, finding some sort of underground lab in a cavern deep underground. They continued their investigation and found some enormous cavern far, far underground, home to some sort of creature. Regardless, the two decided to return back towards the surface, taking a secondary route and returning back up through the spore walls, whereupon they met up with some of the remaining members of the town and headed back to Ridden's Dredge shortly after sunset at about 7 p.m. However, when they arrived, they found that Akbanok was dead. And so, we pick up with our session. The party outside of the cave entrance to Ridden's Dredge, Volnbjor, still by your side, along with a number of people. I believe you have Baldo, you have Meili and Yana Tierson. Who else? I think you got the three adventurers, Ethramal, Evelyn, and Edmund. And I think it was Fourth Wind Ashglade is with you as well. But the sort of warm summer air, along with the humidity of the hot springs, kind of washes over you. You can see Quinn still has a look of alarm in his eyes as he just informs Volnbjor, Akbanok is dead. I think we have a problem. And Volnbjor looks at Quinn and says, What do you mean? And Quinn, I don't know, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you three newcomers and your friends to stay out here. This is not good, Vaughn. And Vaughn, with concern, looks back at the rest of you for a brief moment of confirmation.
Now, I want to reference a TikTok audio. Just letting you all know. Specifically the one that says, well, I don't think we'll be doing that. But I guess Natalie will look to Quinn and say, I understand that you're going through something and possibly looking to research into whatever happened to Akbanok, whatnot. But we have some more pressing matters involving what happened there, and I don't know, I've actually lost my train of thought as to what exactly I was going to say, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, we need to talk.
Emmy will cut in as Natalie starts to stammer through her.
It's the
No.
rising sun on my arm that's like melting my brain right now.
I think you've proven yourself incapable of handling your own inmates. We're going to assist with that, if you don't mind.
As you say that, you can see Quinn looks like a little alarmed as he's kind of like, what do you... And Vaughn kind of steps in and, I've been with these three all day, and I can assure you that their input would be valuable to this situation, even if we do want to keep things under wraps, whatever this is, whatever this means, that you found. So I can vouch for them. I would ask that they stay with me for now. And Quinn, you could see he's like, he's a little upset at the whole incompetence jab, but he kind of, fine, okay. Come with me. The rest of you, though, stay outside. Well, in the lobby. Or maybe not. Just come inside and stay in the lobby. And he turns around and heads inside.
I will follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Von Bjorn follows along with you. You pass by. You can see there is like a nervous energy to the air. It something is wrong, but it doesn't appear that people know like what it is. Herod is deposited in a very large chair next to um, Area Pearson. She is currently working on like a word puzzle and just seems to be doing like some rough translations of some of these words. You can see Duck. He currently he's like over by a sink and there's running water, and you can see that he's getting like a glass of water. And he looks over and makes eye contact with you and slowly lifts the glass up and just pours it over his head and then goes and fills another glass. I'm trying not to laugh while doing this description. Um, Pours the second glass over his head.
I love Doc.
There are people seem to be slightly out of whack with the current situation, but nobody really seems to know what it is except for Quinn. He leads you back down towards the rooms. You can see that once again, Ori's door is open, but there's no sign of Ori, even though there's still like the carvings on the wall and like the mussed up blankets and all of that. Across the hall, the large metal door that houses Ox room is flung open, and you see the outline of Ox figure laying within. And Quinn sort of approaches to the door, and Von Bjor once again looks at each of you before stepping into the room where Ock is laying.
What are like
Does
first impressions of the scene? Is this like a violent death or like a heart attack or
Uh, as you get to the door and like look in and peer inside to try to make sense of the scenario, Ock is face down. His arms are kind of spread out around his head. You see the room appears to be in disarray. Um, there is a metal chair and a small metal table. However, even the increased strength of these materials seems to have suffered some sort of damage, being knocked about, banged, scratched. Sheets are in a tangle on the floor. There isn't a bed frame, but there is like a large mattress in the corner, and the sheets are just a complete mess on this mattress. On the wall, you can see scratch marks on the wall, along with bloody fingernails from Ock. Um, Von Bjorn kind of walks over and kneels down next to him and very tentatively sort of lays a hand on the side of his neck before looking up at the rest of you and shaking his head. Um, Quinn sort of approaches. I, I don't know what happened. I walked inside to try to find him and fetch him so that he could help us with preparing dinner, but I just came down the hallway and looked in, and he was laying there, and
Mm.
he didn't respond, he didn't get up, he didn't do anything. Um, I've tried to keep everyone else out of here, out of this area. I don't think anyone else knows or saw him. The door was mostly closed. Um, the only person who might have would be Alexia, but she doesn't say anything. She can't say anything, but I think everybody else knows something is amiss from how I'm handling things, and I'm not handling them well. And Vaughn kind of stands up and you're doing what you can, and it is terrible, but I think you're doing the best you can in this situation to try to keep everyone else calm. And Quinn kind of, sure, we'll go with that. I don't know how he ended up like this. And Vaughn says, well, maybe we can take a look and find out. Do any of you have expertise in medicine?
Not an expert, but an extra
Yeah.
pair of eyes can help.
Moment while we all check D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Do I look like a doctor to you?
Yeah, the doctor's asking us if we have expertise in medicine. Tisk, tisk.
So Von Buer is not a doctor.
Yeah, but Quinn's there.
Quinn seems shaken by the
Cool.
situation.
Get yourself together, bud. Shake your shoulders. Nah, I'm joking.
Slap.
Um, we know that they had to deal with this yesterday. I just think they'd be used to it by now. I mean, yeah, I can try.
Yeah, look, I have no expertise, but I would like to have a look. I don't
Sure.
know. I just feel like Oriana's done a lot of violence, and there's probably some kind of violent signs that she would recognize.
Looking at the crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell you what, you can make an investigation check to try to piece together the crime scene.
You know what's really upsetting? My investigation is worse than my medicine.
Natalie, you said you wanted to do something?
Oh, I was just happy to look over them to see kind of like cause of death, what happened.
Okay.
Like, I
So
would
that
imagine
be
that
medicine.
having spent a lot of time alone, probably very used to injuries, what would be bad, what wouldn't be. I at least have a positive for medicine, just not proficiency in it. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and give it a roll whenever you're ready.
Okay. Oh, 19.
I got a 19.
Ooh.
19.
I have a +1, so that's a dirty 20. And I wish I'd just gone with medicine because that's a +3. But I have a dirty
Oh, you
20.
had a better medicine check than me. Here I am, like
Yeah.
+2, probably like pretty high.
So, Ori, you start going around the room and investigating the situation, and it's pretty obvious to you that there was some sort of a struggle. You can see scuff marks on the floor, though you get the sense that the general premises are kept clean. Akbanok probably wasn't too strict about keeping his own personal room clean, so you can see there are, at the very least, two sets of footprints, the very large footprints of Ak, and the smaller footprints of someone more regularly sized. You can see scratches along the wall align with Akbanok's. However, you don't see sprays of blood or any overt signs of like a battle. There very clearly was like a struggle, but it doesn't seem to have been a back and forth. Natalie, with your 19, you walk over and you approach the body, and as you kind of go to like put your hand on the neck to like double check pulse, you can immediately see that the neck is purplish and bruised. There is a very clear mark of a cord around the neck, almost a garrote, and that stands out to you as obvious. Around the rest of the body, you see some smaller bruising around the sides of the sides of the torso, and the lower back. But it looks like to you the cause of death was asphyxiation by strangling of some sort.
But possibly a struggle? with the bruising? Is that what it suggests?
Yes, some
Yeah.
some sort of struggle.
Okay. I'll
Whether
relay
the
that
bruising
to
was
everyone.
self-inflicted or inflicted otherwise is
Yeah.
unclear.
Is pretty could be known to be aggressive, so it's not necessarily that weird that he's bruised.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll let everyone know that.
And I'll pass on about the multiple footprints and very obvious signs of a struggle that people definitely already noticed. But
But at least you know.
mostly the extra footprints.
I mean, are we going full CSI here? Or are we going like, oh, did he know the unsub, you know?
Do I have any like blacklight fluid and a little torch in
Yeah.
in my kit? Is that
we
something
doing-
clerics get?
Blacklight fluid? Or doesn't that just make it more visible under a blacklight?
Just
can't remember what it's
splash
called, but
blacklight fluid
I know.
everywhere.
I'm
Turn on
pretty
your
sure-
blacklight, you're like, ah, shit.
Damn it. Mistakes were made.
Also, I would just like to call you out, D. You were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit where it's gonna be the best for the camera. You were in the bottom left-hand corner of your webcam right now, and also in the bottom left-hand corner of the camera on the stream. Just calling you out.
It's just rotating. I'm like
great.
sitting and being comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm just gonna keep you on your toes because I'm in a wheelie chair. I haven't wheeled it. I haven't moved it. I got situated. Maybe it's because I'm leaning. Anyways, whatever.
Honestly, I have like a setting on my chair that I can like rock in it, and I just sit here like moving all the time. I feel it.
Yeah.
It's impossible to stay
I'm
still.
constantly
I think that makes it worse.
rotating.
And now I'll just do the rest of the game down here.
That's
This one
fine.
tiny little
I'll move you
talking
down
head.
there. You got this tiny little head on the picking over the top.
That's adorable.
It's like a talking head. Oh boy. For New Year's, there was totally off topic. For New Year's, there was like a Futurama marathon that started with episode 1, which is when Fry gets frozen on New Year's, and there's the talking heads of future. Anyways, let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. What would you like to do in this situation? Do you relay this information to Quinn and Vaughn as well?
Yeah, I feel like once Ori mentions the footprints, I'm going to probably not very subtly look at both of Quinn. Well, just Quinn's feet, really, because Von Bjorg was with us. But yeah, do they match Quinn's feet?
Oh, that's a good question. What kind of role is this?
Survival?
How about a
Throwing it out there.
Is there
I
a
would
fashion,
argue that
a
it's
fashion check?
investigation. Could I
I'm kinda
intimidate
thinking-
them into showing me their feet?
So I'm thinking discern from the appearance what kind of wound, determine the weakest point in the tunnel. I'm thinking perception if you're like just looking. Investigation would be, hey, come over here, stand in this footprint. And survival would be take off your shoes.
Does that mean that perception is like when you're like measuring furniture and you're like, this is how big, and then you walk into the other room? And
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to be
Exactly.
quite that unsubtle. So unfortunately, it will be a perception roll.
Okay.
Which is a 3 with a -1.
Ooh.
So you just like pointedly look at his feet and then at the scuff marks and then back at his feet. And he's, hey, you, you don't think I did this, right? That's,
Oh,
What?
no, I was just wondering if those are an approximately human-sized footprint.
don't you have approximately human-sized feet as well?
I look down at my hooves and then back to him.
Or you have hooves? You don't have feet?
I've always imagined myself with hooves. I have like specially made boots.
Okay.
I have like those Alexander McQueen heels.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh well. Then in that case, uh, he tentatively steps into the room and steps his foot down next to the scuff mark. And immediately, without even needing a roll, you can see that his feet are larger than the scuff mark. And it is kind of blurred in what passes for quote unquote footprints in this room, um, considering not only the scuffle, but the amount of time that has passed since. But his feet are larger than these marks.
Okay, so we're looking for like a small human. Do they seem small enough to be like halfling sized, maybe? Or
Yeah, maybe. It very well could be. Coming from someone with hooves for feet, it's kind of hard to come up with like a frame of reference.
I mean, I've seen people.
It's the same comparison as having never gotten sized for a ring and then being like, okay, what's your ring size?
Yeah, that's fair.
You're
And
just
you're like,
like,
I know
I
I
don't
don't
know.
have fat fingers, but like, whatever, average.
Yeah. What's normal?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Also, Natalie, in terms of like quote unquote time of death, you reckon it probably happened maybe an hour ago. So the body is,
Which is a long time for people still to be suspended, I guess, but everyone's probably feeling their energy. I'm mainly musing to myself.
Mm.
While Eminence is having a think, I was hoping if Oriana has pointed out the footprints, if we can tell point of entry, was it from inside or was it from like a window or?
there are no windows, so the Ridden's
Oh,
Dredge is
wow,
a
okay.
cave. They're the only entrance and exit to Ridden's Dredge that you know of is
Wow,
the
I did not have that vibe. Why
entrance.
did I never have that vibe? I don't know.
It is not Hobbit Hole. It is
Hmm.
more colder cavern esque.
Great
Okay.
place for a hospital, really. Just perfect vibes for getting better.
Probably
Yeah,
still
just
a good.
dank, damp, no fresh air.
So
Mold.
it is
Probably even
dry.
a good thing to point out anyway, just in case there's maybe like a secret entrance or something. I don't think it's that sus, but
Yeah.
I asked the question. I may as well keep asking.
Yeah, for the actual history of Ridden's Dredge, the caves were picked out because some of the original people who were stationed there were screamers. So the cave was a nice distance away from the city without being too much of a
Practical.
hindrance. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I wish I didn't know that.
Congratulations. Now you do. That part of your brain.
Oh, I literally
Knowledge you've soaked up.
didn't think about that. I was just thinking about. Anyway, not the point.
Anyways. Yes, you I imagine at this point you all share information. So if that's something you would like to investigate, you can.
Okay.
So,
Great.
an hour ago, this isn't a very Oriana voice, but this is in character, not just me musing.
Mhm.
An hour ago, all of this happened. Someone was strangled to death in this room. There was obviously a struggle, and you're saying absolutely nobody saw or heard anything except for perhaps the woman that conveniently cannot speak. That's what you're trying to tell us? Nobody heard anything.
Um yeah. I mean, I was in the foyer with Aery, helping her with her puzzle. Um 12 was preparing potatoes.
I would like
There was
to.
that
Hmm.
like earthquake thing. The ground did rumble, but we didn't
This
think
was not
anything
an
of it.
earthquake.
No, this was not an earthquake. I'm trying to describe the situation that I was in so that I can remember, my footsteps leading up to this situation.
Can I have a look at Okbanok's fingernails? I want to see if he managed to like scratch whoever attacked him.
Absolutely.
Full CSI.
So it is kind of difficult to see clearly because his fingernails are kind of ruined from scratching against the wall.
Oh yeah.
There is blood. It's hard to tell if it's his or someone else's. You guess that a significant portion, if not all of it, is from him. Um,
Well, he does have blood on his hands. There's a chance he's hurt whoever did this. What if we round up everyone here and see if anyone has any injuries?
It's a good plan. Though you would think that someone wouldn't still be around, but we could double check.
It would at least narrow it down. Well, if nobody has any injuries, that would also, I mean, he's a big guy. It's hard to imagine someone killing him without a bruise or a scratch, so maybe we could rule out some of the residents.
It's a good plan.
And we can check their foot size. Oh, does this mean it definitely wasn't Dark because he wears those like duck flipper shoes?
In my head, I saw him as wearing Crocs without socks, but sure.
I like Crocs without socks as a descriptor. Like the default for Crocs is with socks.
Do you really
Just
wear
nice
socks
and
with
yucky.
Crocs?
It kind of is in hospitals.
What is
Unfortunately.
Oh.
Crocs and socks.
Yeah, I've always thought of them as without.
Hmm.
Socks
Same.
and Crockers. So, are you suggesting we just search everyone for wounds?
Well, I mean, we could at least check their like hands and arms and faces.
I'm not saying we strip search them, but
No, that would be a bit extreme.
I think we can do that. Looks over at Quinn. I suppose we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Shall I put together a list of the people who are here?
that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. He steps aside and heads over towards the administrative wing. Indeed.
While Quinn's gone, so now it is just us, isn't it?
And Vaughn.
And
Yes.
Vaughn, who's with us and knows everything we know, essentially. Remind me at some point, we should ask them what they think of Ori's room. We walked past it on the way in here, and it still has all of that, like, weird carvings and stuff, but they don't remember him. So where do they think the carvings came from?
Yeah, I guess we could
Like-
check.
Just be interesting to know how that works.
Yeah. Definitely.
I imagine we all kind of like keep glancing awkwardly at the body. Like none of us are particularly comfortable. Maybe Ori is. The rest of us are just like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that we need to. Did we work out? So there were scratches on the wall, right?
Yes.
Like hand scratches.
Yes.
So cool. And we have no
Ooh.
way to know whether
No.
that was before or after, do we?
That's a good point.
I mean,
So
well,
there
we know
is
at least it was
fresh
by him,
blood
but
from some of those scratches.
but
Does it
that
appear
was
at all as if he's trying to scratch patterns, or is it more like angry, freaking out.
No, it is. Uh, sorry. So the scratches in the wall, they are new. They are not. It is not like it's Tuesday. Time to carve the wall with my fingernails. You get the sense that it was more a panicked act of desperation rather than a deliberate form of artistry or anything like that.
So in other words, though, let's say I don't have no idea what the setup is like, but like,
Mhm.
would it be reasonable to assume that perhaps someone came up from behind him, strangled him, he struggled and scratched the wall instead of scratching behind him, or are we talking like he maybe went into a rage before that, and this was a way to subdue him?
Um, it's hard to tell just looking at the scratches on the wall. You can see that the room is in disarray. Like
Mhm.
things have been knocked around, chairs, tables, all of that. Um,
More
there,
like are the scratches above a bed? Like, you wouldn't think that if someone was getting strangled, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna get onto my bed and start scratching at a wall. You know?
yeah, no,
Like,
they're not above the bed. You get the sense that um, the scratches were an act of panic, not an act of rage or aggression.
okay. Hmm.
Man, you weren't kidding about that afternoon sun.
Yep, it's in my eyeballs. And
Do
yeah,
you,
I'd really like to do something to my blinds, but apparently they don't work. So that's great. It's wonderful. It's really good. It's really, really good. And it's only literally this one
Mhm.
square of window that's doing it.
That's the worst part about like choosing a desk location, and
Mm-hmm.
for 3/4 of the day it's fine, and then 1/4 of the day you just get like that perfect glare of the window directly on the monitor, and you're like, well,
I
Mm.
picked it because I was like, I want plants. And I was like, I'll get sun on the plants. But then I also get sun on me. I don't want more sun on me. But it's fine.
vitamin D, vitamin sun.
Yeah, I'll get my 3 hours of sun, get sunburnt from my own fucking window. Sorry. Go back to
Totally.
D&D.
I did have a thought and I literally just forgot it. Oh, we know that his room was a little more simple. Well, I have actually just realized I made the assumption that his room is a bit more simple because I'm assuming things needed not to be thrown around when they've decided to lock him in his room. But does he have
Yes.
like any drawers or anything that we can like look through? It's really just like the bed in
Yeah,
there.
so he's got the bed. There was a small metal bedside table, like those tiny IKEA tables, but
Yeah.
crafted out of just folded metal. And two very small metal chairs, but they are like crumpled and broken as if they have been thrown about the room. Um, you see in the corner next to the bed are a number of uh, outfits, um, leathers, linens, cotton, that would go into a wardrobe were there a wardrobe, but you get the sense that, again, making do with what he's got. Just on the floor next to the bed is his version of passable.
Kind of a mood. Uh,
I feel personally attacked right now.
yep. Okay. Hmm.
Is he wearing clothing with like pockets? I mean, we may as well search his pockets.
Yeah. He does have some basic pockets. The right hand pocket is like the lining on the inside of the pocket has completely come apart. So there doesn't hold a single thing. The knowing nod. The left hand pocket, there is a collection of colorful pebbles.
Hmm.
Oh, baby.
Hmm.
Vest pocket is empty. Um, the uh, Yeah, that's about it.
Well, I've made myself sad.
Sorry.
Hmm.
Next campaign I'm gonna write is gonna be much more uplifting.
No, we want murder mysteries.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't actually know if I want to be happy when I leave a D&D session. Like, I kind of want to be a little bit emotionally devastated, but it's not always fun in the moment.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask. Oh, not Quinn. Quinn left the room.
Yep.
What's his name? Who's not Quinn?
Vaughn.
Yeah, that's it. If there was anyone, like, obviously we know that he was a bit of a temperamental dude. Was there anyone that he particularly didn't get along with? Because we know that he didn't get along with Ori, but Ori doesn't exist anymore in this timeline.
To answer your question, he says, yeah, I can't. Oh no, this is Vaughn. Yeah, he doesn't get along with Ori.
And who is Ori?
He's in the room across the hall, or he would be. I haven't seen him.
Uh-huh. Are you in the correct place to hear some news that may be upsetting to you?
That doesn't seem like an entirely fair question. It seems like you're just gonna tell it to me anyways.
Well, I cannot tell you if you don't want to know.
Well, now I want to know.
Okay. Ori currently doesn't exist to anybody else here. Yes, yesterday in the time loop, Och killed Ori, and today nobody remembers they existed.
Yes, I tried to pretend to be them and nobody recognized me.
Well,
So it's rather
I,
unusual that you do.
I, I mean, there are some things that I remember. I know that I'm going to die today, or I should die, or I have died. It's unclear. Doesn't exist. What does that even mean?
Nobody remembers them.
There's something very strange going on.
Yes.
More so than
Yes.
just Ark.
More so than Och, you're feeling that you're going to die, the time loop. There's a lot that's very, very wrong here.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So I'm a little thrown that you're a little thrown by this one little detail.
I was already pretty thrown. This is just a little further thrown now. I was thrown by a giant earlier. This is just a slightly bigger giant throwing me. This metaphor is getting away from me.
So not that it probably helps, but with that context, was there anybody else that Och didn't get along particularly well with?
Come to think of it, is there anybody else who has been murdered, disappeared? You've been here longer than we have.
Um, it's strange. I have memories of being alone here, of being last, but I also remember everyone being here. Everyone is here except for Ori. So to your first question, no. Ak is friendly with everyone. The only exception is sometimes when Ori did his repetitions, it would upset Ak. But even then, that was infrequent at best. At this point, Quinn from the hallway, who's Ori? Someone that used to live here before you came. Do you have that list? And Quinn, yeah. So there were a lot of people here in the early afternoon, but shortly afterwards, most of everyone split up and went in different directions. Around the time that I think this happened, based on what you've told me in terms of how long he's been here, I think it was Akbanok was here, Aria was here, Alexia, Hadrian, Tulvir, and Duck.
Well, we should focus on those people when we're checking for signs of a fight.
Aria was with me, and Tulvir was with me in the room. Alexia, I thought, was napping or reading, maybe. Hadrian was in his room. And Duck was in the baths.
Okay, that gives us 3 pretty plausible possibilities. I mean, those footprints could very well be female-sized or child-sized. Hadrian's the kid, right?
Yeah, he's 16.
Yeah.
That does seem like a good place to start.
As good a
Um,
place as any.
For my own personal brain, how many hours is it until we are expecting the timeline to reset? I was like, 6?
After all of this conversation and investigation, probably closer to about 4 hours.
Um, I don't know how to get Quinn to leave. Wait, yes, I do. Um, I'm going to ask him if he can gather people for us somewhere that he thinks would be an appropriate, low stress environment for, I don't know, checking people for signs of murder.
Yeah. We could do that in the administrative wing without too much difficulty. Yeah, I'll do that. And he turns and departs.
I hate to say this, but we don't have very long until we're expecting the time loop to restart. Is this what we want to focus on, or do you want to focus on how to stop you dying at the end of the time loop?
I mean, I don't know. It uh it could be that I'm remembering this death at the end of the time loop. So I feel like I have done my own questioning and investigating, and I've come up with less answers than you have in the amount of time that you've been here. But It's all blurry in my head. So, with you three being the newest three, I would leave the investigation to you.
And at the risk of sounding callous, the odds of you coming back in the next time loop are greater than this happening again. This almost certainly is not going to happen. Everyone will have forgotten Okmanok. So I say we spend the next 4 hours getting all the information we can on what just happened here.
We will, of course, do the checking for the potential murderer. But if
Mhm.
that comes to nothing, perhaps we refocus our efforts.
You do also
Something that
have
may actually be useful.
3 very competent bodyguards, so if anything did come for you, at least we're all here.
Okay. Wh- uh, is there anything else that you want to investigate in this room? I'm going to close and lock the door just so no one else stumbles in.
He doesn't have any drawers. He doesn't have any cupboards. Well, I mean, technically he has drawers, but they're all squished up. I don't know. Do we want to check under his mattress? Or has that already
Ooh.
that also been like flipped in the struggle?
No, it has not been flipped.
I'm just trying to think of places where you would hide shit.
Yeah, no, we should definitely check under the mattress. That's a classic.
I
Yeah,
guess.
let's do that quick.
In the
Mm.
pillowcase. Let's just do a quick, cheeky little ransack.
Are there any little like air vents that he could hide small things inside?
There are not any air vents, no. You flip the mattress and you can see a handful of small, like pages, paper.
They don't happen to
Hmm.
have the same weird Ori scribbles on them, do they?
No, they appear to have cartoonish illustrations of women.
Oh, boring.
I mean, I think that's fun. We're going to deposit that
Oh, I
in
meant
a pocket.
for our investigation. That's boring.
Oh yeah, probably
That
not
was
very
what I
useful.
meant.
We're gonna
Unless
pocket that for later.
is it cartoonish illustrations of women doing something suspicious that looks like creating a time loop?
It is not. It is definitely an Occam's razor of depictions of women. You get the sense that most of these were done in crayon, probably by Ock himself. There are 2 or 3 pages that are in a little higher detail that suggest that at some point someone helped him out. But there's maybe a dozen or so of these pages, and they are not flattering.
Look, I'm gonna keep
Hmm.
them anyway, just kind of I don't know. I was gonna say as proof that he existed, but I mean
Then
if people didn't know he existed, if I show them these pictures, that's not proof that they existed. It's probably just proof
No.
that I'm a terrible artist. Um,
I swear
I
he was
mean,
real. Look at these drawings he did. Maybe not this page. Okay, maybe not this page. No, this page is good.
Yeah, somehow I don't think that's working, hey.
no. They're the ones that look like somebody else worked on them with him. They're not like signed or anything. We can't get a clue as to who his friend was.
They do not have a signature on them.
We don't want to be associated with it.
They are yes, there's a signature and a face of the artist. As you're kind of holding them up, looking at them with a confused glance, Vaughn looks over and gives a low chuckle. If I had to guess, I'd say that looks like Area's style of drawing, but
Aery was
don't
the one
know.
who was with Quinn when this happened, yeah? They were doing the puzzle together?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is the like really, really old woman who doesn't speak anymore.
Mm.
But she likes to do puzzles.
Women are puzzles.
Remind me, Ori, did you ever try to scry for Ori after we found, like, after he disappeared? Because you could hold on to some of these items to try to scry tomorrow.
It doesn't look like I did.
Because we haven't really established that he's not
On this
anywhere.
plane.
Yeah, like he could be on this plane. Just something has buckled with people's ability to remember him.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That is not something that I tried.
Try doing that for Ock tomorrow.
Could you imagine if the way you get out of the time loop is to die, and then you wake up and you're fine? Wouldn't that be weird? That'd be weird.
I feel like
Haha,
that has
just
been
kidding,
the plot
but
of like
maybe-
an episode of every sci-fi, I reckon.
Yeah,
That's like the bottle episode when they don't want to pay for a lot of set pieces.
Wasn't that the plotline of Lost where they keep hitting the button?
It was. You basically just
that?
described season 2 of Lost.
We can't let it go down to 0. Why not? Something could happen, but we don't know that.
Dee, if it turns out we're all in purgatory, you're in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
Spoilers for Lost. That
We've already
went
been to
off air
hell and it
about a
wasn't
decade
so
ago.
bad. I don't want to be in purgatory. I'd rather go back to hell.
We already went to hell and it wasn't so bad.
This isn't my first time in hell. It won't be the last.
Okay, so I think if there's no little vents, did we check the cushion? We found what's under his mattress.
Yep.
I think we've looked at like literally everything that we could, so we might as well let the door get locked.
In the pillow, you do find a couple of assorted knickknacks. One sec.
So
Assorted knickknacks.
that
Are we actually getting to
means
look at knickknacks?
that we just use an axe if we need to get back in there. That's my plan. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't know.
you can use the axe to get back in there, but this guy's on our side. He'll probably open the door if we ask to go back inside.
Yeah, but
You don't
Natalie
have to
hasn't-
hit it.
She hasn't cast axe in a really long time, okay?
I'm just feeling really aggressively towards
Fair enough.
doors, all right?
Happy.
The doors are the problem here.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. The true culprit, doors. If we didn't have doors, people would have seen who murdered him.
Right, so the way to make sure nobody dies is like a big brother, nobody ever has any privacy ever again situation.
No, you can have an arch, which would give you
Natalie,
privacy. You just
arches
can't have a door.
Universal surveillance.
Right, like those swinging barn doors. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
have everything closed, but you can
Like a
you can
saloon
hide
door.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saloon
everything
door.
should be saloon. I can so picture Natalie just like dramatically bursting through some saloon doors.
Me too.
Especially
Just
the
needs
time.
to keep this in mind.
Lately with Natalie, though, I think it would be the burst through the saloon doors and then the doors swing out so wildly they come back and hit her. So
Yeah.
Awesome. So in the pillowcase, you find a small mummified goblin hand.
Interesting.
You find what looks like a metal pan, like a noisemaker, with no openings, but as you like tilt it, it sounds like some sort of contraption is moving, and it sounds like the wind through trees. And lastly, you find a small sheet of parchment upon which is drawn a complex, like arcane contraption.
That's odd. Are you doing this in full view of everyone? Because if so, I'm peeking over your shoulder the whole time.
You were looking in the cushion.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Ori. Okay. Does this look like it was drawn by the same person who drew some of the the diagrams and stuff that Natalie and I found in the water room.
You can make an intelligence check to compare by memory, or if you just pull out and compare, you can get an answer.
Oh yeah, I still have. I'm gonna pull it out and compare it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna try to avoid saying I'm gonna pull it out again.
I am an adult.
I'm 30.
I think I set that one up, so that's partially my fault. Yes. So you pull it out and compare, and they do appear to be done by the same hand. They the parchment is similar. The parchment that you had is like clean and pressed and well maintained. This is like crinkly and folded multiple times, and part of like a corner is torn off, which is cutting part of the page off. But you get the sense that this is the same individual who wrote this.
Well, this is something. I think what I'd like to do is spread out the one I've just found and like the ones I'm comparing it to on the bed. Does anyone have any idea what this contraption could be? And for that matter, do I?
It's like a single like 8 by 11 piece of paper. It's not like a huge thing.
Yeah, but the thing that's diagrammed on it.
A4. It's an A4 piece of paper. As someone who prints stuff regularly, it's an A4 piece of paper.
A4, yes. I apologize using my weird American metric of whatever the fuck this is.
8 by 10. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. America. Let me tell you about our foot to inch to yard ratio. Yeah. Looking at the diagram, it appears to be. I'm not going to tell you. Make an Arcana check.
Okay. That is a 15 for me.
15.
And I mean, I haven't seen these maps or the diagrams that Emmy and Natalie got before. So in general, since she's laid them all out, can I roll to see if there's literally anything that I can kind of recognize the anything of? Knowing that I know
Yes.
nothing about mechanics, if we're
So
going
for
to
you, looking at all of these like maps and some of the papers that Emmy had, it's not in a language that you recognize. So you could make a straight intelligence check with disadvantage against the language.
Oh, good lord. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
very obviously, some of the sheets are maps, and
Yeah.
you recognize like, oh, this is the pot. This is for some reason Ulson. This is something else. Ooh, that's a happy looking face.
I got a nat 20, but the second one was a 15, which still isn't bad. But I only have
Hey!
a +1 to my intelligence, so it's 16.
16. So 16 is still pretty good. You recognize some symbols for like rough equivalencies for fire. Like the word fire or the arcane symbol for fire. And these are in Ox new like folded crumpled up page.
Yeah.
Some sort of spell that has to do with fire in some way. You get the sense that the spell is intended to last roughly an hour. That's what you get with 16. Eminence with your 15, was it? 15?
Mm-hmm.
15? You get the same thing. You recognize the symbol for fire because of your familial history with the arcane interpretation of fire. You also get the sense that this is almost like the equivalent of doing like a prototype drawing for art. This is like a rough pass of like, is this theoretically possible? So there's different
Okay.
like notes going off in different directions of like, what if I do this? What if this? What if this? Um, and it's not like this is a finite. Like maybe you could do whatever this spell does, and you could feasibly see it to completion, but this isn't supposed to be the final product. With a 15.
I'm gonna say that I said all of that stuff out loud to keep Natalie in the loop. Mm,
What the DM said exactly.
yeah. Verbatim. Well, that's certainly not something that Arkmanok would have been working on, surely.
Gonna look down at the body on the floor and be like, he doesn't look that magically inclined to me. It doesn't really give us any answers, though.
The question was he keeping it? I mean, is it the kind? He seems like he liked to kind of collect things. He could have just been keeping it because he found it and it looked interesting. It could have
Where
been
did he get
given
a
to him.
mummified goblin hand, and why was he sleeping with it under his fucking pillow? Do you guys not do like room checks?
Yeah, that doesn't seem hygienic.
How did he have a body part in his room? Under his pillow?
We maintain a level of cleanliness within the facility. However, we allow our patients to manage their own cleanliness. And Ock bathed somewhat regularly. So we decided to let some things pass and give him a bit of room, considering he was kind enough to keep himself from smelling.
So the limit wasn't he's not shitting in a corner so he can keep dead things.
I didn't know it was there.
Well, surely you do room checks. I mean,
Not infrequently. The only room checks that we ever end up doing are usually Herod, and that's to see what things we can return back to the kitchen that he's stolen.
so one of your residents has regularly been stealing knives, and you don't think it's a good idea to perhaps check the others occasionally?
Usually it's spoons, he likes to look at his reflection.
That's adorable, but beside the point.
We do infrequently do checks. I do not know how long this has been here. Perhaps Quinn knows. I mean, it could be a recent. And he kind of touches it, and a little bit of the skin like crinkles and flakes off. And maybe it's not recent. Maybe he found a goblin during a stroll and protected the pot, which brings up more questions. I think I'll bring this up with Quinn.
Yeah.
Yes. After, we solve the time loop, dying, disappearing people situation.
Yes, it's rather pointless to bring it up now. Nothing's going to change, is it?
Yeah. I would write myself a note, but something tells me that's not very effective.
Actually, that's a good point. We did the thing earlier with Aery wrote his name on a rock, right? I can't
Yeah.
remember if that name stayed there. It did, didn't it?
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
I sounded really stupid when I was like, "Look, Aery's name's on a rock," and then it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they
right.
were like, oh, you could just be saying your name is Aery.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like the pictures that we now have. He existed. Look, this picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just love the idea of being like, hello, this orc existed. Here's his pornography.
Yeah.
What? We were joking about like Terry Pratchett earlier, and that just has like good omens vibes. He walked into the room and existed because he had pornography. Okay. Thanks, Douglas Adams. Anyways.
I'm just trying to think of whether I own anything that I could use to do this. Because what I'm thinking of doing is I want to do like a Doctor Who silence situation and like mark the days off on my arm because we don't know how long this is going to take, and I would like to keep track of how many loops we've gone through.
Oh, what if we've been through loops that we don't remember?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I don't
Inventory.
like that thought.
I don't think I have like writing equipment. I just have a dagger, and I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to like
Thought about it.
carve check marks into my arm. My thought process was that's very metal, and Emmy would like to appear very metal, but also that would hurt, and Emmy doesn't like pain.
We can carve check marks into Oriana if we really want to. I feel like she already has an assortment of scars, and this isn't going to change much.
We are
I
in
feel
a
like if
place
Oriana-
that records things on paper, guys. We could just ask someone for a pen.
No, less fun.
Ah, yes, the classic body mutilation. Love myself a good D&D session where we contemplate permanent scarring.
Well, we did contemplate carving Aery's name into a person
You
a couple of
did.
sessions ago, so it's not
That's
like
right,
this
we
is
did.
I feel
new.
Yeah, this is a recurring theme in this campaign.
We settled for the rock, but we considered,
We've
like
downgraded
putting Andy on the
from-
bottom of someone's shoe.
Except on the bottom
Do
of their
we-
foot.
Do we need to have a talk, y'all? Do we
No.
need to have a conversation?
Hey, we've devolved
Well, that's
from
a really good idea,
cutting
actually.
people's faces off to
Yeah. This all started
this.
with contemplating cutting off a face.
Yeah.
Dude.
I would like to carve like 2 lines into like the leather sole of my boot.
Okay. You do that.
And yeah, I'll just sit on the
It's-
bed and do that and explain to everyone that I'm going to keep track of the days.
You have like a smaller surface area to work with because,
Yeah.
hooves. Hoofs. So wait,
Yeah, but who wakes up in the
hoofies.
morning and goes, I'm going to look at the bottom of my shoe?
I'll look at my boot.
But we remember.
But we're doing it
You
to
find
remember.
6
So what if we
additional
don't?
carve marks on that. No. No, what you do find is your boots are clean. Aside from the trekking that you've been doing with them.
Cool.
Here's a question. If you're a tiefling and you have hooved feet and you have boots,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a heel that goes up to like the 3rd joint? So you have like the boot and then an additional supporting heel?
Okay.
Or is it just like a broad surface area?
Don't cosplayers do
picturing-
like the high heel? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm picturing like the high heel that kind of, okay. Does anyone remember which designer actually did those? Okay, horse hoof
Like the-
heels.
You could look up like how cosplayers do hooves though. Because yeah, they just
Yeah,
take off the
so-
heel of a heel.
I'm going to put a picture. Actually, I'll just link to it. So I'll link to it in our chat and the
in
Twitch chat. Yeah, both. This. Hang
Can
on.
we do links in Twitch chat? Are we allowed to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, you're banned.
Horse hoof high
We
heels.
don't allow it.
Banned.
No links. Nah.
All right.
We
so
monitored
this
chat
is
fast
the
quickly enough that we can just ban
not-
people who are mean.
the appearance, but the shape that I am imagining.
Ah.
Jesus Christ. Hang on.
Oh, wedge heels. Yeah. Anthanum in Twitch chat said wedge heels are probably practical.
Yeah.
But you, as someone with hooves, would be comfortable not having your actual back part on the ground.
Mm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
This is terrifying and I love them.
That's horrifying.
Sure.
Like, not the fur. They're not furry boots,
Yeah.
but they're
Gosh.
vaguely that shape.
With the supporting heel strut in the back.
Yeah, there is a heel, so that, I guess when I'm in the boots, you can't entirely, unless you really pay attention, you wouldn't be able to tell that I have hooves.
Okay.
So you do have second ankle support, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever that joint is on a hoovered creature, it's
I'm
very well supported.
I'm disappointed by the fact that these heels come in women's sizes. They come in men's sizes. They also come in kid sizes.
Oh
Ew.
no.
I hate that.
That's yep. Um. Anyways, let's let's not stop talking about hooves and get back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Really? Because I'm reading the reviews. Very happy with purchase. Yummy things.
Yum? Did you say
Oh
yummy?
no! Yummy things.
Okay,
I've
I'm
gotten
closing this
compliments
website.
when friends come over.
Are
Who?
you just wearing them around the house?
Yeah. I gave these slippers as a gift, and my friends love, love, love them.
I
I
don't
Wait,
am
think these are
closing that
real
tab.
reviews.
I agree.
maybe they're not reviews for specifically those items, right? Maybe?
These reviews came out in the past 5 days on the 1st, the 1st, the 31st, the 30th, and the 29th.
I feel like shipping wouldn't be happening at that point in time. I think this is fake.
Also, they're fake because they're paying for one review a day.
Dun dun dun. Okay, so now that
Um,
we've publicly
we've
exposed a scam
broken
website,
Etsy. Um, yeah, let's play Dungeons and Dragons. What do you want to do, gang? You have 2 marks in your hooded boots. 2 tallies.
We should probably go see Quinn and the people that we asked him to round up for us. Check to see if anybody has any visible scratch marks. Like Ock has left defensive wounds.
yes.
Awesome. So you want to do that?
Yeah.
We'll go
Okay.
join Quinn and all the peeps.
You head out of the room, and as you do, Vaughn, he kind of shakes his head and he says, "We bury you or burn you, but I get the sense that with this whole time loop thing, it's not going to make much difference. So just rest a little while, and we'll see if we can figure this out." Mm, tosses a blanket over Ock's body before closing the door and pulling out one of the administration keys and locking it. Afterwards, the 3 of you and Vaughn head back to the foyer before turning towards a separate side route down towards the administration wing. You can see a couple of people have been pulled away from the central wing. Most of the people, if not all of them, are here at Ridden's Dredge waiting in the foyer. You made a deliberate effort at the end of last session to get as many people as possible to Ridden's Dredge. So you can see that it is crowded and a little busy. Thrinarf is in the kitchen and he is just cooking up a whole storm. He's got Yana there with him and they are just hustling and bustling. You make your way down the administration wing, passing a couple of the storage rooms and offices before you enter back into the primary office, where you could see a couple of chairs and stools have been pulled out. Quinn is there along with Aria, Alexia, Adrian, Telvir, and Duck.
Do any of these people have, like, before actually looking at them closely, have anything particularly, like, obvious? Like, in general, Leon is staring at me, so I love that I'm about to start talking about murder right now. In general, if somebody attacks you and you're trying to defend yourself, you generally go for, like, the face and, like, the hands and stuff, because your hands are getting on their hands and you're trying to, like, get to their face and shit. Is anybody scratched up, or is there anybody that has anything obvious on them that's kind of like, ooh, a little bit suspicious, or like they've started parting their hair differently to cover the fact that they've got an eye scratch, or I don't know.
Mhm.
Like before we start picking on people, is there any way that's like a starting place?
Sure. So as you enter into the room and you start looking at people, Talvir stands up and looks at the rest of you and says, I'm sorry once again for deceiving all of you. Um, I think that you should know that I'm not actually Talvir, and that I killed and replaced Talvir and have been stuck in her body for quite a long time. So I don't know what the situation is, but I think you should have that clarity before going into this situation, whatever it is. And Hadrian kind of very gently leans over and just pats her on the shoulder and says, "That's okay. Just sit back down."
So this is perhaps a delusion that everybody else knew about, but I personally can't remember. Do we know this as characters as something about them?
I think this has come up.
My notes haven't been very good
I
for a
think she
while.
introduced herself to you yesterday when you were reading other people,
Yeah.
and this is in line with what she said yesterday.
Okay, okay, okay.
Does is there any way that we can detect, like, I don't know, an aura of magic or something? Because, like, what if it's not a delusion? Um,
I
Actually,
mean,
yeah, if you want to do a little bit of small talk, I can ritual cast detect magic to go for about this whole thing. Wait, how long
mm,
does ritual casting take?
yeah.
Taste? How does it taste? How does ritual magic taste?
How does ritual casting taste? Tastes purple.
I like purple.
Tastes like static.
I don't have a note anywhere, but I'm pretty sure when you ritual
Ooh, I
cast
like
something,
that
it
description.
takes 10 minutes instead of an action, or 1 minute or something. I don't know why it doesn't say this on my spell sheet.
Should take 1 minute
1 minute?
if I remember
Okay.
right. Yeah.
I will do that. I will ritual cast detect magic, and I will be concentrating that on that for the next 10 minutes after
All
it
right.
is done.
While Laurie
But
does that, I guess I'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Tulvia, was it? Well,
Yes.
not Tulvia, apparently.
For all intents and purposes, I'll respond to it.
And how long ago did you say you stole her body?
Oh, I don't remember.
Ah, and who were you before?
I don't remember.
Do you remember why you did it?
Probably because I was hungry.
So you ate her.
If I had to guess, yeah.
That's an odd thing to guess. I
Isn't it?
mean, wouldn't you presume you were, I don't know, hiding or assuming a new identity for some other reason? It seems a strange choice to eat somebody and then want to live their life if you were just hungry.
That's reasonable. Do you remember how you felt when you were born?
I remember how I felt when I was reborn, but um,
Could being reborn bring Telvir back?
would you like to bring Talvia back? Where would you go?
I think I would move on.
To whom?
To me, ostensibly.
Ah, so if you wanted to, you could leave right now and become yourself again?
I imagine. I mean, I've been stuck being Telvir for so long.
Would you like to try?
What does that entail?
Well, I don't know. You're the one who did it in the first place.
I thought being reborn would make that possible.
I'm just going to be like kind of side eyeing Ori. Like, how
This
long do I
this
have to keep
conversation is just circling around.
talking?
Quinn and Vaughn are just looking at you two, just like, um, Yeah, detect magic goes off. You do not detect any magical items within the area. There is still a faint aura of abjuration overall, and that is consistent with the whole experience. There is also a faint aura of transmutation.
Transmutation possibly could be, if it's coming from this person, that they did change from uh Tolvia into, well, not Tolvia into Tolvia. Is it
Mhm.
coming from them?
It is not. It is coming from
Okay.
Duck.
Okay. How specific is this spell? Is it coming from Duck as in the entity that is Duck or something on Duck? Can it pinpoint that?
The entity that is Duck. It's kind of like if you're in a kitchen and you make like freshly baked cookies and then you walk into the next room and someone else is like, you smell like cookies, like that sort of thing. Was that a
Bless
weird
you.
did Leon think, oh, he sneezed, okay.
He sneezed.
Thought he heard the description and was like, that's crazy.
No, he's just yelling from the lounge room. No, he sneezed. Okay. Well, that's something to note for later. Um, I was the one that said the entity that was Duck. I don't think that's something that we need to be worried about. That was my wording.
Let us
I'm
muse all we like.
Grabbing it and running anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Headcanoning it.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna note that for a little later. Uh, cool. We got 10 minutes of this,
Yeah.
which is
If
maybe
Ori is clearly like looking around, kind of eyeing up Dark, like not paying much attention to Telvir, I'm just gonna let the whole conversation just kind of peter out.
Mhm. It just kind of fades away and Tolvir again sits down next to Hadrian. Adrian, so what's going on? Why have we been pulled aside?
I'm going to look at Quinn to see if they have an explanation that they have already kind of given so that we're not completely contradicting him.
Uh, Quinn looks at all of the rest of you and, well, um, we wanted to inform each of you that there has been an accident. Um, I'm afraid Ak has passed away. Um, it seems to be of natural causes, as far as we can tell. But as his roommates and fellow residents, we were hoping maybe if there was something you could tell us about how you saw Auk acting today, or something that might have given some sort of pointer as to why this might have happened. Um,
As she breaks the news to them, could I be kind of watching the room to see if any reactions seem off? Like a fake surprise or just way too blank?
yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
no.
Uh,
However could this have
Oh
happened?
no, he was strangled. How sad.
so they didn't say strangled; they
I
said
know.
natural causes. Um, it it's kind of difficult. So Area, Alexia, and Duck have completely flat expressions. Like their expression doesn't change at all. Hadrian looks like, oh, that's so sad. Um, Tulvier also looks concerned, but you can see Tulvier starts to kind of almost like lose themselves in their own in her own thoughts for a moment. Um, before Tulvier says, I I don't think I did it, but I think I might have done it. I don't remember doing it, but he was fine most of the day. He seemed distant, and maybe he finally realized that I'm not actually Telvier. I don't know. Hadrian kind of, yeah. He was distant today. Uh, more so than usual. He seemed distracted. Like something was off, but obviously he couldn't tell us. Um, around mid afternoon, he went outside and just sat in the sun and watched the sunset. And then he came back inside and just went to his room. That was the last I saw of him, I guess. Duck kind of
Mm.
looks over at the rest of them and then back over and finally seems to start to grasp the situation, and you could see like a little bit of like sadness kind of creep into his face. Um, but he still does not speak.
Uh, I'm sorry. I'm saying a lot of things like not in character today, just trying to get the words across because it's hot and I'm melting. But I can barely put together sentences as me. I do want to say to Tolvia that like nobody is saying that anybody did anything. You don't have to worry, as Dr. Quinn said, like natural causes. Um,
Mhm.
Trying very hard not to snarkily also say, and you're not keeping your secret very fucking well. You've confessed like 2 times in the past 10 minutes to things that nobody even asked you to, so pretty sure you're safe. Um, but not saying those words, but face kind of like nose twitching a little bit, like, "Just don't ruin everything."
You're doing such a good job. Just hold it together. Just hold it together. Stick the landing.
I really want to go. Got a question, Duck. Just about
Quinn
what the fuck is wrong with Duck?
um, reaches into a pocket and pulls out like a notepad and a pen and puts it in front of Area. And you can see she kind of reaches slowly with the old trembling hand and takes the pen and begins to very sort of delicately write against the pad. Um, her handwriting is crisp and clean, but she writes out, he seemed fine, but distant. Um, is he really dead? Question mark. Quinn nods and confirms to her. And though her face again remains completely passive and like disaffected, you can see her eyes start to tear up a little bit.
Who was the last person that didn't have a reaction in the beginning?
Alexia.
Are they having any kind of realization?
None whatsoever. She appears to be like completely unplugged from the situation.
Mm.
And your detect magic would have picked up if there was anything funky going on with her.
Yes. Well, if there was anything magical happening there. I don't have detect good and evil today. That's something that I'm going to equip tomorrow. But for today, we just have to hope that nobody's particularly evil.
Mhm. Does anyone remember him going anywhere other than outside and in his room? Any of the other rooms here? Did he seem particularly interested? Did he seem to be, I don't know, looking for anything or just distracted in general?
Adrian kind of looks over. I don't remember him doing anything out of the ordinary for like looking or something. Um, it's almost he did walk up to me once or twice this afternoon, and it's like he wanted to say something, but he didn't have the words. He didn't have the ability to communicate it. He fought for my attention, but he couldn't do anything with it.
Hmm. And did that seem to distress him or upset him?
Um, Again, at best, it made him distant. He didn't seem terrifically distressed, but now that you mention it, maybe that was his way of being distressed, of showing that something was wrong.
Hmm.
When you say he was distant, what exactly do you mean? Just he didn't hold any conversations with anybody? He was doing things differently?
He just
How
kind
do
of
you
chuckles.
define
He,
distant?
I mean, he was nonverbal, but Ock typically was, for lack of a better word, still emotionally available. He would sit next to you and spend time with you. Um, it was apparent that he cared about us in his own way, but today that seems to have been brought down a level, as if something else was on his mind.
This is this is something that nobody can actually answer for us. So this is an out of character musing. I wonder if it seemed like he was regretful for murdering someone yesterday. What if he remembered too? But obviously nobody else remembers Ori, so that's not something that I can really say. Did it seem like he was having a crisis over killing someone that you think never existed? Uh, hmm. Well, thank you. And if anybody else has any thoughts that they didn't feel like sharing in front of the group, you can talk to any of us about it anytime within the next 3 hours before the world ends again.
Did you say that part out loud?
No. Sooner rather than later would be nicer. That I will say out loud. Um,
Right. I'll take everyone back then, Quinn says, and he kind of stands up everyone and moves Area over to her wheelchair and starts shepherding everyone out of the room, leaving you through with Vaughn. Um, on her way out of the room, however, Alexia kind of stops and walks over to you, Eminence. And she's still got like that completely like vacant, removed expression. and she kind of tugs on your sleeve a little bit.
Yeah, like I'll look at her, but in that way that people who don't like kids look at kids when kids are like, "Hey, hey, hey!" Like, really? You choose me? Do I look emotionally available to you? But yes, what?
She kind of like reaches her hand up to you a little bit.
Like reaches her hand up to me, like she's going to like touch me,
To your
or
face, yeah, like towards your face.
I am going to just casually prepare for her to like do some kind of magic and murder the shit out of her.
he's in the background, like
saying.
grabbing a
Mhm.
knife.
You can see Quinn is like in the doorway as well, like observing this situation. Vaughn is there.
I'm just gonna kind of point to my face, like,
She again just like continues reaching towards you.
I'll let her touch my face if she's gonna touch my face.
Yeah. She reaches past and like grabs your horn and kind of gives it like a gentle tug, like she can't believe it's attached.
Okay, okay, ow, ow.
And then slowly lets go. And meanwhile, the chains have just been
It's my
like
little
tinkling and making
chains.
noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that it? You. I mean, do you like them? Do you? I'll kind of shake my head and make the chains jingle.
Mm. You can see like the faintest hint of like a smile kind of curl up.
Okay. I'll just pat her on the top of the head.
Mm. And she recognizing the dismissal, she kind of turns and heads out after Quinn and everyone else. I think she likes you.
You made a friend.
I mean, why wouldn't she? I'm delightful.
So, anyways, what did we learn? Natalie, you've been taking in a lot of this information, and I'm curious to know what you think.
It's all some weird magic shit. Doesn't seem to be an obvious threat or person before us. Without. I'm at a complete loss, essentially.
Ori, I saw you were casting something earlier. What did you do?
Detect magic. Look, the whole time we've been here, there's been a little bit of abjuration around the place. Like that's it's starting to be fairly standard. Uh, but I am slightly bothered by Duck.
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 Duck?
Duck. Uh,
Just unanimously
said
everyone
goose.
like,
I should have said
Duck.
goose. Dang it. Thought of it too late.
Damn.
Duck has been affected by some sort of transmutation magic.
Transmute.
That's not that weird though, right? We did have a connection to the web. Oh no, but they were the other things. Maybe it's a little weird.
A little weird.
Transmutation, like changing something from one thing into something else.
Yes.
Perhaps he has been attempting to be more duck-like.
He has not got a magic bone in his body. He has difficulty eating bread.
Would you say his intelligence level is about that of an actual duck?
I would. Are you?
I mean, I don't want to be the one to say it.
This is not an idea that I even particularly like entertaining.
Wait. What are you suggesting?
Perhaps duck is a duck.
He has a brother.
Perhaps the brother is the one who is actually insane. Perhaps he wanted a brother so badly he turned a duck into a man.
I feel like potentially that's maybe a stretch.
Maybe.
Is that even?
Perhaps someone made a mistake with a spell and didn't know what else to do with a duck transmuted into a man.
Is polymorph a curse?
Is it a question for me or for Palm?
No, for you. I'm just thinking, like, I want to test this theory.
Polymorph is not a curse. It also has a time limit.
I thought true is
Unless
it
it's-
true
yeah.
polymorph that is forever?
True polymorph does not have a time limit.
Can you fix that?
I think so. I think what is it? Greater Restoration or Wish, or
Oh,
another
no.
true polymorph.
What if he was a duck polymorphed into a man and it polymorphed him into like a goose or something?
Oh my god.
I don't have greater restoration.
Oh no, I'm sorry. True polymorph
Anyway.
lasts for an hour.
Oh. Okay, so maybe he's not a duck.
And then what else would the...
Oh no,
I mean,
the
as you
spell
said,
can
this...
become permanent. What?
Isn't it,
This,
like if you
judging
don't
by your
reverse it or
reaction to
something,
all of
but-
this is probably not what's happened.
Yeah. Unless you're a really good actor.
I'm just curious.
But if he himself is not magical, what are the odds that this has nothing to do with the fact that he thinks he's a duck? It's just
Honestly,
an
I
awful
have
coincidence.
no idea, but if he's not magical, then someone has cast some
Oh.
magic on him because it's not an item, it is him that is emitting this aura.
That's right. The spell lasts for the duration until the target drops to 0 hit points or dies. If you concentrate on the spell for the full duration, the spell lasts until it is dispelled.
What if that's not the duck we met at first? There is someone here who has just
Killing
killed a
people.
man, and there is someone here who conveniently cannot speak or vouch for themselves or seems at all like a suspect, and they have an aura of transmutation magic. What if it's just not duck?
An imposter
Yes.
Us.
among us?
Okay. What level is scrying?
That's a sobering thought.
There being an imposter among you would explain why the only people who seem to have been near Okbanak are people who don't seem capable of killing him.
Can any of you read thoughts by any chance?
I mean, if we could read thoughts, would we not just have read the thoughts of everyone in the room to see if they had killed him?
That's why I'm trying. I'm double checking.
I can't read, but I can always get to a skull pretty easily.
Okay, we'll make that plan skull.
Good. Glad to be of help.
I almost hate to suggest this, but what about Dr. Quinn?
Well, they would have the means to do it. The footprints didn't match, but he was
Oh yeah.
very quick to prove that his footprints didn't match. So if that was a red herring,
Could he have stood on tiptoes?
but then the
Thinking
footprints would be on
Pinky
tiptoes.
prints.
Feet prints.
Slight raise, walked with no toes on the ground. I don't know. Throwing it out there.
How do you walk with no toes on the ground?
You lift them up.
Lift them up.
The heel in the ball of your foot. You've never. Okay. I feel like. Wait, do you also have hooves?
I actually don't think I do. I think I just have feet.
Regular
I
feet.
don't
Okay.
think we ever
Well, you have
established
different
this.
mothers, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So,
That's
like,
why I was
Yeah.
surprised by the whole foot thing. This earlier
We've
episode.
just
Boy, the
never
fetish
brought up my
community is getting a lot out
characters.
of this episode. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of foot content.
Yeah.
I think Oriana just doesn't know
Anyway.
how to sneak because Oriana has never successfully snuck in her back, like in her entire fucking life.
Never needed
But
to.
speaking of red herrings, I have just had a thought, and it's not because I didn't properly read my spell selection for today. I have raised dead. I think we have successfully left this long enough for people to believe that Ock is definitely dead. This is something that I have had in my brain as a plan and not just occurred in the past 30 seconds. We could go back in there, provided his body is still there, and provided somebody has 500 gold points. A diamond worth 500 gold points. I think we have. Do we have coins for, like, have diamonds for Revivify? Or have we not quite got up to
I
that yet?
have a diamond necklace that was gifted to me. I do not know its value.
I have a note that, like, I have Revivify prepared, which makes me think at some point in time I must have bought a diamond because otherwise I wouldn't bother having that I don't have that written down. Anyway, is it in my notes? I only just started taking notes on my computer.
I'm so
Don't
bad at
worry.
tracking the items that I keep on me.
I don't know if I have a diamond.
I want to say
Which
that we
isn't
did,
good.
but I don't think we ever explicitly had that, like,
No.
Yeah,
conversation nor shopping aspect.
Is it something that the hospital would keep on hand if somebody died and they desperately didn't want them to die?
Well, then they'd
They
use it
don't
now.
have. Yeah, they don't have clerics capable of doing that. No, they do not have this
Mm,
hot spring sanatorium.
Yeah, nah. It doesn't seem like the most
Top of the line facility.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially since we've just figured out it's in a cave. Totally didn't realize it was in a cave before. Well, I can do it tomorrow. Wait, Aery has a bunch of gems. Aery is not currently here to object.
I
Does
don't
Aery have
imagine
any?
that there is 500 gold pieces worth of
Like a
diamonds on
diamond
Aery's
off of, like, a-
stuff.
Comatose Aery that's just standing
Aery's
next
there
to us.
next to you with like sunglasses on.
Okay, unfortunately, yeah, we probably don't have that. Unfortunately. But hey, have 10 days to deal with it, provided their body
So
doesn't
do you
disappear.
If you're
do you
thinking
have
through this
raised
out
dead
loud,
or do you have revivify?
I have Raised Dead and I have Revivify. So Revivify is 1 minute, Raised Dead is 10 days.
Yeah. That's why I was double
Yeah.
checking because on your D&D Beyond you just have revivify.
Yeah, I-
Revivify.
Don't think, because I don't update that every time. I'm not sure if I've even updated that since our last level up.
if
Maybe I have, I'm not
Ori is thinking through this out loud, like, did I remember my diamond?
I have so many diamonds at home in hell. I just don't think about it sometimes.
Yeah, I forget to go to the diamond drawer sometimes. Like, it happens.
Where do you keep your diamond drawer?
Bedside table, duh.
What do you mean you don't have a diamond drawer? Where do you keep
Yeah,
your
it's
diamonds?
like, I'll just go to my diamond drawer. It's my bedside table. Do not look in the bottom left drawer. That's mine. Yeah, if Ori is thinking about this out loud, the necklace that I got from Silence was diamonds, right?
I believe so.
I mean, I don't know how much it's worth, but like, my boyfriend wouldn't be stingy, or I wouldn't be dating him.
And presumably, it will come back tomorrow when we time loop.
Yeah. It's been like a few weeks, honestly. I'm kind of going
Okay.
cold on the whole silence thing. Like he's
You've been
been really
stuck in a
like he hasn't
time loop.
he hasn't been answering my calls. Like he just never calls first, you know? I'm starting to think like this whole relationship is kind of all on me. Anyway, I'm saying all of this as I pull the necklace out.
Um,
Amazing.
is there a way for us to kind of get an estimated value on this necklace?
Yes. The necklace looks like it's probably about 200 gold worth of diamonds.
Wow.
Typical. I can put it back.
Just want to
200
point
gold worth
out,
of
just
diamonds would keep a
casually,
family fed for
but
the
also
rest of
like
their
the
days.
diamonds in it
first
are worth 200. That doesn't mean that the entire value of the necklace is not more.
also it
Like
was a
that's like
first
material
date
cost.
gift.
I know.
That's what happens when you're the king's advisor.
Well,
Mm.
then he could have given us something worth 500 gold pieces and
I had a
not
date.
just pretty, also useful.
Yeah. I had a notion that you might need to revive someone, so as a gift, I got you this diamond the size of a pomegranate.
That's an unbelievably romantic gesture. I'll have you know.
The only problem is you can't wear it because it's a
Mm.
diamond the size of a pomegranate.
Well, we'll circle back on that in case we happen to find out that some patient here has a secret side drawer full of diamonds.
If anyone, I would guess Herod, but sometimes the things that we find in his room, I am astonished and afraid.
Why do you search his room, not the room of the guy with the mummified goblin hand under his pillow? How do you
It
decide which rooms to search?
it hasn't been a problem, and we haven't seen Ock taking anything. Herod, meanwhile, just well, what was last week, I saw him walking out of the kitchen with 4 different plates stuffed into his pants. He
I
had
think we could use
pockets. I
him.
don't.
I think we could use him like a bloodhound, like wave a diamond under his nose and be like, "Go, find it."
You could certainly try.
I
Mm,
think I would just wake up less some diamonds.
that seems more likely.
Would there be diamonds in the monastery? Do they hold things of value?
They seem a little culty. Culties tend to ask for donations.
As far as I know, probably not, but you could certainly check. Um, I get the impression that their donations, if any, come from incoming new patrons, who usually are members of the town. It's not very often that the Tengboche Monastery gets new devotees from travelers.
Mm.
Also, the both spells you're considering would require access to his body, correct? So we would need to find a diamond and pull this off within a few hours.
Yes. Yes. Although the
Mm.
finding the diamond is the main problem. He has the keys to the door, which is locked, so presumably nobody else would have had any access.
Yeah, the body
Yeah,
isn't going anywhere unless it's moved.
I'm just thinking of when time resets and he disappears forever.
Yes.
Is that no? Yeah, that checks out.
Well, I feel like we have to put a pin in this idea, given that we don't have the resources.
This could be cheating, but like if Aery did have some diamond jewelry, could we collect a bunch of diamonds that are like collectively worth 500 gold? Also, like knowing Aery, he would not be cool with us just like incinerating his diamonds.
Are the diamonds consumed? Yes.
Yes, but they might come back tomorrow because time loop.
Precisely. I feel like we could talk him into it.
Also, we did promise
So-
a shopping session.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you, yeah, you don't even need to make an intelligence check. Physical objects remain affected. You've written on your boot, and you plan to use that tomorrow. You've written Aery's name on a stone.
Yeah, but does Aery need to make an intelligence check?
All of you would figure that out.
Damn.
Okay, so that's not
Oh.
our next move. What is?
Mhm.
I do think it is important to, as Natalie said, 3 very capable bodyguards. Stop anything happening to you. If you can come back tomorrow and still remember, that would be very useful. So it would be useful to us if you did not die.
Aren't there also those other 3 adventurers?
Yeah, did
The
they come back with
Huts-
us?
They came back
Yeah,
with us
yeah.
because Natalie screamed at them. and
I,
was like,
I
"Oh, you want
challenged
to
them to a
fight?"
race,
Yeah.
and they were very happy to oblige.
Two of them
Maybe
were.
they have something.
That is a thought.
Yes, we do forget to utilize them because we told them what's going on.
Surely they would get into enough trouble every now and then that they're just randomly like, "Hey, I need to revive you because you died for something stupid."
We
They
decided
are
to see
very
which of us could
competitive.
spend more time inside a pit of lava.
Yeah.
One of them just drowned trying to hold their breath the longest.
Honestly, probably.
That is an
No.
incredibly good thought. Okay, so we'll test this. If this doesn't work, we move on from this plan.
Mhm.
If they do happen to have a diamond, we sneak back to go see Ock again. And hopefully they'll be able to tell us what happened. If not, perhaps we go investigate the transmutated duck
Yes.
line of inquiry.
Also, we should just ask them if they have any ideas. I mean, maybe they have spells we don't have. Maybe they have skills we don't have.
Yes, it's a good point.
Let's do that.
We already
Awesome.
sorry, I'm muted halfway through talking. We already knew that Aery was the only Ori was the only one who really had like a magical proclivity, right?
I think,
We already discussed that, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Yeah.
So Area has puzzles. Ori has the symbology that is related to magic. Who else is there? Hadrian is just learning because he's a teenager.
Yeah. But like I'm just more mean
Ak
like,
Ak had no magic. Alexia has shown no magic. Herod sometimes gets magic items because he's got sticky fingers. And Telvir is a lizard woman who thinks she's a doppelganger.
So yeah, I don't really think that anyone else is going to have any kind of abilities to assist us.
Yeah, check with adventurers who hopefully didn't leave. after our weird little press conference.
Well, we told them to stay. At least we know the easiest way to get them back if they did leave.
Challenge them to another race.
Yep. That's the plan. This is my contribution here. Feats of strength.
No, not more feet.
No.
We've changed the subject.
Don't bring it
Um,
back. It's dead.
So what's the plan?
Guess I gotta speak
See
with
if
the
the adventurers have a
right?
diamond and see if we can trick them into giving it to us.
Well, we don't need to trick them. We can just ask them.
I
Yeah.
think we could probably pay them.
We convince them that. So right, okay. So this potentially, right? I'm confused now.
Wasn't this your plan?
No. I was gonna continue on with this conversation. I was gonna be like, we could just tell them that they'll have it back tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna think
we
about it any further.
actually had this discussion with them earlier about the breathing things, and they were pretty amenable to that. I think they gave them to us. Did they undercharge us, or they didn't charge us, or something because they presumed they'd get them back the next day?
Yeah, they didn't charge us a huge amount.
Yeah, so they were fine with it. If they have a diamond, I think we can get it from them.
And if they aren't particularly amenable to giving us a diamond, we can always say that once we get out of this time loop, we'll pay them back.
Mm.
Which
I
we will
forget.
be quite capable of doing.
This loop, this day, have we explained to them yet that they're in a time loop? We just called everybody over, didn't we? We haven't gone through all that.
You did on this day, because this is the same day that you went underground into the cave, which means you had to get
Oh.
We explained to the adventurers that they're in a
Perfect.
time loop. We just haven't explained to anyone else. Well,
Perfect.
except for
Yep, sorry.
Valenbjorn and the other people who were with us in the cave.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that the cave exploration happened a loop ago.
Tough keeping it all straight.
Yeah, it's almost like time travel loop things are confusing.
Wibbly
Wibbly
wobbly.
wobbly.
They're even more
Tiny
confusing when we
whiny.
have a bunch of time off.
Yeah. Okay,
Awesome.
so let's go find our adventurers.
Yeah, you
Buddies.
ahead. head out to find your buddies. Yes. Okay. I thought you were going to say something. You were just exclaiming
anything useful, no.
buddies. Yeah. You head back out into the foyer. You could see that Thrinarv has finished cooking with Yana, and they've got like this potato, lamb, and leek stew. And it's just like this thick, hearty stew that they're just doling out to people. And Evelyn, Edmund, and Ethramal are gathered around one end of the table. Evelyn and Ethramal are having they're at the cusp of having an argument of who can eat the most stew, to which Thrinarv says, we've really only got enough for like 2 servings per person at tops, so let's keep that to yourselves. Yeah, everything seems to be in order. There is still like a pall in the air, but it's not so much so that the whole place is falling apart. There is still a little bit of disappointment, but you get the sense that Quinn hasn't broken the news to everyone yet. Yeah, you head over to the 3 adventurers.
Somebody else can take over this. I have no idea how to broach. Hey, do you have a diamond worth a lot of money, and can I have it?
Oh, I
I was
do.
just gonna say, I feel
Hey,
like all of us
do you have
walk
a
up
diamond
and-
that's worth a lot of money that we can have?
Yep. That's
What?
exactly what I was imagining.
Do you have
diamond?
a diamond that's worth a lot of money that we can have?
For what purpose?
We need to use it.
Yes, for what?
Well, I'm not going to eat it. I need to use it.
I have several diamonds of different sizes. What do you need?
We need it to
It's
cast.
a matter of secrecy. This isn't the kind of place that we can. At the dinner table is maybe not the best place to talk about it.
We're not
Would you
intentionally
like to
being
step into another
vague.
room?
No. We just need it for like magic shit. That's all.
Yes, I have several diamonds of different sizes.
Think we need $300 worth.
Five.
$500 worth.
I do not have one worth 500 gold. I do have one worth 300 gold. And you can see Ethramal and Evelyn are like, What do you mean? He's like, you have died before. I was just taking precautions.
I'm glad we read you well.
He reaches into the sack and he pulls out like a small leather bound like just clump and opens it, and out plumps like a softball sized diamond on the table, in addition to a rolled up piece of parchment. Here's the diamond. Here's Revivify.
Thank you. Very much appreciate it.
I recommend one of you should be a spellcaster or ritual casting for the scroll. Anyone can do it. It's just better chance with magic users.
One time in my life I could cast magic.
You can. It's just still difficult.
Yes, understood. Thank you for your assistance.
Of course. This is all going to reset, right?
Hand back the scroll. You don't need this.
Hey, we could
But
just.
thank you.
They were trying to help.
I said thank you.
All right. And Ethramal looks over. I thought we had that for emergencies. We did have it for emergencies, Evelyn. But it's not really an emergency if we've never had to use it. So it's just wasted gold that could have been spent on magic items. And Edmund is just immediately like,
Better to spend the gold and not be dead.
that's my reasoning. Evelyn's like, but that could be a ring of protection, which would prevent us from being dead in the first place.
I'm going to walk away from this argument because the casting time of this spell is an hour and we are running low on time.
You just walk off with the diamond,
Yeah, that makes sense.
saying nothing to them the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh, you said thanks.
I already said thank you.
You did say thank you.
How many times do they want me to say it? It's only worth 300 gold.
And now we have a monetary value to what Oriana's thank yous are worth.
Yeah.
One thank you, 300 gold. A thank you to gold conversion ratio.
It does say the diamond needs to be a diamond worth 500 GP. I can't do Revivify because he's been dead for well longer than a minute. Would you let me squish together the diamonds from the necklace and this in order to cast the spell? Because technically it's supposed to be a diamond, but it would be multiple diamonds.
Yes. Yeah, so what you would need to do is turn them all into diamond dust. One collective of diamond dust, I would allow. But you would need to pulverize the diamonds into dust.
Like that's something Natalie could help with.
I
Have
can
a
hit
nap.
stuff. I can crush stuff.
Okay. Maybe we should crush stuff outside, so as not to draw too much attention to ourselves.
Why don't we just do it in the room?
Well, because the spell takes an hour, so we don't want to make a lot of noise in the room that would have people wondering what we're doing in there.
How much room am I going to do
If
crushing a
If
diamond?
you also did that in the room next to her while she was spending an hour casting a spell, I would make her roll concentration checks because you're there next to her, crushing diamonds.
No, but we need the diamonds before we cast the spell.
Yeah, I
It's
figured
not
we
like
need the diamonds first.
Yeah.
But if we're in that room making a whole load of noise, crushing diamonds, people are going to go, what's going on in this room that is locked that has a dead body in it?
Well, then no one can get in.
And then
so
I
it's
have to
fine.
spend an hour after that keeping people out of the room while I cast the spell.
We just tell them, hey, we need to be in here. Ignore any loud noises that happen.
I'm not certain that would work particularly well.
Fine, let's go outside then. You're the one who wanted to be quick. Just figured, it's safer to be in the room.
It
in
will
the
be quicker if
context
we
of-
don't have to keep people out of the room while I'm trying to cast the spell.
Oh, whatever.
It's gonna diamonds.
Natalie's investment is amazing.
Um, can I ask Natalie to start on the big diamond, and I'll get out my dagger and try to actually pry the diamonds out of the settings in the necklace, so that I can keep the necklace at least, and hopefully replace the diamonds. And
Mhm.
Silence will never know.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes. So that would probably be sleight of hand. We'll
Okay.
give it a DC 16 to remove these diamonds from their setting.
All right. Where's my sleight of
Cool.
hand?
Get ready for me to ruin $300 worth of diamonds. With sleight of hand, there it is.
So Natalie, you're gonna need to give me an athletics check.
I
What
get
was
an
that, Emmy?
athletics check. Oh.
I have a +2, but unfortunately I rolled a 2. That's a little shy of 16.
Yes. So that is a 4. So you get the first diamond. You take a dagger. You start like prizing against the housing, and almost immediately your dagger slips and you nick yourself on the finger as your blade just slides right off the metal. And now there is a deep gouge in the soft gold housing the metal. Um, you can remove the diamonds with a 4. However, it is not going to leave the necklace looking pretty. Instead, what you can do is take, I would say, about 30 to 45 minutes and not roll. And at the end, you'll do a roll to see how well you save the necklace, but it will be at advantage. It will be at a much higher chance of success.
Look, we don't have that kind of time. And I mean, Silence would want his gift to be of value to me, and I have a lot of necklaces like this at home. So, yeah, I just
Next time you see him, wear a different diamond necklace and just gaslight the shit out of him. No, this is what you got me.
gaslight gatekeep girl boss. That is the Eminence way.
He is a very practical person. I am certain if you explain the situation, he would understand.
Also true. I will keep that advice in mind.
Just, Natalie here, just tell the truth, Oriana. Lie to him.
Aery with
Yeah,
the
okay.
sunglasses for surviving.
That's it.
Aery would definitely be team gaslight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
a bit outvoted here.
All right, I pry out the diamonds in any way that I can manage.
Awesome.
I got a
You get the
22.
diamonds. Natalie, can you give me athletics checks? So these are going to be DC, we'll call it DC 15.
Mhm.
However, you need to get 3 successes before you get 3 failures.
Okay.
This is a large, long-term skill check because this is you. You've got a hammer outside. They provided to you a big old hammer. What are you doing this on? Just like a stone on a table?
I'm guessing something solid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Won't be as effective if you're hitting a hammer into some grass, because then it'll just go into the grass.
Yep.
But the first one was a 22, anyway.
Success. You immediately start swinging, and the massive $300 gold diamond just crumbles down a little bit into smaller chunks. This, however, is where it's going to get shitty. From those medium knuckle-sized chunks, you have to break it down into a powder. And that is just going to take a lot of swings and a lot of effort. So let's get another athletics check.
That was 23.
That's a second success. This is similar to your axe work, and you just keep swinging, and swinging, little left, swinging. You start to build up a rhythm almost. At about this point in time, Eminence comes over and deposits her smaller diamonds pried from the necklace into the remaining pieces of diamond. Let's get another roll.
Doesn't show up on my screen for some reason. That's a nat 1. Wow, that sucks.
Oof.
Rip me, I guess. which gets it to
Yeah.
a 9.
It's a warm summer night. The hammer starts to slip a little bit from your grip, and it sort of slides free from your hands during one swing and chips against the side of sort of like the large stone bowl where you have everything, and a large crack comes down the side of the stone bowl, and just little tiny flecks of the diamond dust that you've already crumpled down begin to sift through the bottom of the bowl. Go ahead and give me another roll. 2 success, 1 failure. 3 success.
Pretty sure that's
Nice.
24, but it's not telling me that. Yeah, that's 24. It's
16
usually
plus
comes
8.
up with the numbers in the top right, but
Mhm.
I can't see the dice.
Yeah, they weren't popping up for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, it is a battle of endurance and sweat and grit of just hammering the same spot over and over and over and over and over and over, pulverizing until finally your hammer falls one final time. And you can feel the exhaustion in your shoulders and your lats, your bicep and your tricep. Your forearms are sore from gripping the hammer so it doesn't slip out of your grip again, but you let it clatter to the ground as in front of you there is a bowl of 500 gold worth of powdered diamond.
Do not sneeze.
Now we're good.
I'm gonna grab the little bowl. I don't sneak. I feel like it's not going to be obvious that that's a bowl of diamonds. I feel like most
Yeah.
people don't see diamonds in dust form very often, so I'm going to just like casually walk back into the room, get
Mhm.
Valbion to open the door, and please let there still be a dead man in this room.
Yeah, you don't see Valbjorn. As you walk back into the
No, we
room,
told him he has to stay with us so he doesn't get murdered.
Yeah, 3
Yeah.
bodyguards.
yeah, he was eating dinner just inside.
Fuck.
Oh fuck.
We did.
Oh dear.
As you step inside, immediately Herod just eyes go straight to the bowl and just completely focus.
I
And
will
he
prepare to
like
grapple him if he gets even within a meter or two with
like a cartoon
range.
character that smells a fresh pie on a windowsill, just like starts navigating through the crowd of people walking over towards you. And Natalie, you just easily like body block him to prevent him from closing the distance. Still, he is a tiny man. He is not a large, powerful figure. Yeah, you see no sign of Von Bjorn. I'm actually going to leave a mini cliffhanger right there because I really have to use the bathroom. I've been, oh my god. I'll be
Okay, I think that Ori should maybe point out that you don't see Van, and me. I can maybe look for him because I worried.
Yeah.
I is worried.
I feel like we definitely need to talk about that. I am not a character that has a thieves tool thing. I don't know how we're gonna get back in that room.
Shit, he has the key.
I will just break
He's
the
got
door.
the key.
That's
You
fine.
can't break the door. The door is reinforced, so he couldn't break the door. So you probably also can't break the
Well,
door.
there's like a
He didn't
hinge
have an
or
axe.
something. I don't know.
That's true. He didn't have an axe. But I mean, hopefully we can find this guy and he's not dead so that we don't need to try and break the door down because again, I'm trying not to draw extra attention since I have to maintain concentration on the spell for a whole hour as I cast it.
Yeah.
And if there's someone trying to get in the room, the DM's probably going to make me have to make me roll.
Yeah, I am very happy to go look for Van Bjorn while you are. Well, not even while you're casting because you need to get into the room. Let's look for him, see if we can find him quickly. If we can't and Natalie has to break down the door, then I will continue looking for him while you're casting.
We can also yell for him.
That
Maybe
did
he's
work
putting
really
his plate
well last
in the
game.
kitchen or something.
Just shout.
Yep.
Does
I mean,
anybody
do we
have, like,
want to draw the
message?
attention of every... I think Aery had message.
It's not that weird,
No, I don't.
right?
Yeah, I don't have
Looking for someone you came in with?
Not true. What do I have?
I was thinking more yelling in it.
I mean, I can like
Yeah,
thermaturge
but
my
we're
voice
yelling
and
in like a
just-
mess hall type thing, right? Like, it's not that weird.
Also not very polite.
Don't think I'm particularly concerned with polite right now.
No, Natalie is up to here with this shit.
Also, I am just sitting directly in front of my aircon. Like, it's pointed directly at my face. So if I'm looking like this, it's literally because this is where the air comes from.
Fair enough.
Hunched over.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Now you're good.
Um,
I'm gonna yell
yeah,
out.
you step.
Von Bjorn, the fuck are
Yeah.
you?
He steps back out into the room. Sorry, I was in the pisser.
Meta.
Oriana's just been like, maybe we shouldn't scream. It's not polite. And he's like, oh yeah, I was pissing.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Hey,
Okay.
we gotta get into that room again. Help us out?
Yeah. Are you gonna? Is that all right? Yeah. You can see he pulls out the keys and starts walking down the hallway. Herod walking with you.
I
Vaughn
will
kinda
just
stops him
turn
and-
around and turn him and just make him walk away.
and he does. He's like walking. He turns and just like rotates back. out.
Yep.
Another thing that works is I really shouldn't be showing you this, but he reaches into his pocket and pulls out what looks like a fidget cube. If you really need to get him to go someplace, just kind of toss this.
I'm sure he will be fine for now. But maybe he can play with that in the hall. Don't forget, stick with us. 3 bodyguards, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good. Not gonna watch you
Um,
piss or anything, though.
Natalie,
Mm-hmm.
make a perception check for
I
me.
don't like that tone.
Von Bjorn seems different all of a sudden.
A weapon.
11. One of your hand axes is missing.
I mean, it already was. I already handed one away.
Well, now all
So
of them
actually,
are
that means
missing.
I have none.
They're not going to want him to have an axe. I mean, it's kind of their fault for not checking their residence.
Look.
They check Herod. Listen, I will defend this institution that I made up.
And we will shit on it at every opportunity.
Every chance.
I'm not detracting from us getting our goal achieved. Quinn!
Oh, you yell at Quinn?
Yeah.
He comes over.
Why are we yelling
yeah.
at Quinn?
Can you get Herod,
what's-
please? He has an axe.
What? And he just
Go
turns
on.
and starts running. you can hear. It's like that meme. Like, what is that? A knife? No! And Quinn just immediately starts running.
In this
yeah.
particular instance, that is not my problem.
Yep. Herod is. You could see he's like on top of the table, just like running, and Quinn's
Yeah.
like, "No, get down."
I'm sure
Yeah,
he said
yeah.
dangerous things before. They know how to handle this better than I would. I would just tackle him and take it from him. So, they can be gentler about it.
Yeah. You are physically larger than both Vaughn and Quinn, so that's perhaps a little bit more feasible for the half-orc Natalie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make your way back to the room. Vaughn opens the door. It swings open, and the body is still there.
Oh,
It's
thank
good to
fuck.
know. Would have many more questions if it wasn't still there.
Yes, undisturbed. The blanket is in the exact same position.
Dee would have to continue to defend his institution. Just in
My
case.
imaginary that I
Yeah,
just made up.
that's the one. I guess once we're in though, I can block the door from the outside. No, he has a little eye thingy, doesn't he? When it's locked. When the door's
Yeah.
closed, I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna
For
keep
like
watch.
putting food trays.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So I'll stand watch, but from the inside, while Oriana casts things.
Yeah. So there's like a little peephole like this big, and then there's the little like tray slot where you can slide things through. So you open the peephole and yep.
I'm assuming because Okbedok was tall, it's like a decent size. I'm not just like.
Yeah. Well, the peephole isn't for Akbanok. It's for
True.
people on the outside to open the door and be like, "Are you decent?"
For peeping at Aquanock.
Yes.
It's fine. I'm gonna do a little slouching.
Yep. Peer outside of the door, and Vaughn looks over. So, you've got these diamonds.
Mhm.
You're gonna bring him back.
Yes.
Will he be the same when
Yes.
he's brought back?
He'll be very weak, but he will be the same person.
Will he be able to communicate?
Well, he was nonverbal because like he was nonverbal. So presumably unless that was
Like a physical
caused by
injury.
a poison or non-magical disease, he will still be nonverbal. But we know he can draw.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's accurate. Can he write? Does he write?
He does not.
Okay. Well, hopefully his
The
drawings are
drawings that he had, they were like stick figures with boobies. Like it was not.
Yes. However, hopefully this person would have some kind of identifying feature that he could put in the drawing that hopefully from Bjorn will be like, ah, yes, that reminds me of this person.
Yep. Um. Yeah.
Okay, so I have never actually cast Raise Dead before, but I know it takes an hour and it takes verbal, somatic, and material. And the way that I like to do things that are materially, I'm going to sit down on the ground and I'm going to like draw like some kind of summoning circle around his body, and I'm going to whew, sparkly fucking diamond dust all over the place. And I'm going to concentrate for like an hour on this.
You make it rain diamond dust on Akbanok like it has never rained on Akbanok before. Um, he
Aery would be
is.
jealous if they were conscious.
Oh yeah. Aery's fully sunglasses in the corner, propped up against the wall, kind of at an angle, like a doll or a mannequin. Um, you sit down, and for an hour, you cast Raise Dead. Um, at this point in the evening, it is starting to run a little bit late. After dinner, after taking the time to crush the diamonds, and with the time that it'll take to cast this spell, it's probably getting close to about 10:30 or 11 at night. Um,
Oh, before I start this, I will just double check. We still have an hour's time left, right? Because we've been trying to keep track of how much time is left before we reset. If it's going to be like 56 minutes, like I don't know if I would bother. Would I still do it? I'd probably well, if there was like an hour and 2 minutes, I'd probably still do it because the body won't exist tomorrow. But there's like at least an hour, right? We're not going to get to the end of this and just have wasted 500 diamonds. I have been
so
trying to keep track of the time.
by the time it would finish, it would be about 11 o'clock. You would have about an hour.
Okay. Okay. I just had a real paranoid thought just then.
I know sometimes I could be mean DM, but I'm not gonna be like, and you complete the spell, the ground erupts and everyone dies. Um yes, so you sit for an hour and you cast this spell, and Emmy, for you, this is perhaps one of the most agonizing, boring moments of your entire life watching your sister cast a spell for an hour.
It was literally just an hour of Ori being the center of attention, throwing diamonds around a room. I hate it.
Yep. Um, but finally, you get to the end of the spell. The diamond dust is sprinkled across Akbanok's corpse. Um,
Corpse.
corpse kind of settles for a moment, and Vaughn looks over. Oh, that's it. It's done. It's over. That's it.
I am saying nothing. I'm ignoring this man.
Has she done this before? Is this her first? Did she do it wrong? Maybe.
This is her first time. Ori, are you sure that? I mean, what if you weren't supposed to like throw it around like that?
I did it right. The only thing that can technically have ruined this if he didn't want to come back. The soul must be willing and able to rejoin the body. If it's been, I don't know, put in soul prison, he can't come back.
Did you not think maybe you could have mentioned this before?
Nobody's soul gets put in soul prison.
Well, then why
Emmy,
would you bring
even
up
in
soul
hell.
prison? Come from soul prison.
We do not live in soul prison. The amount of souls held in prison is very, very small. You have to have been an incredibly interesting or awful person.
Yes, and I don't think he was either, but
Exactly.
maybe you just did it wrong.
At that moment, Ak, his chest expands, and as he does, it's almost like all the diamond dust in the air and around him gets almost like sucked and inhaled into his body, and and Vaughn, you can see is standing there like,
Very pointedly raise an eyebrow at Eminence.
Well, it took a
God.
while.
That was startling. Um, he tentatively approaches and like taps Ak on the shoulder,
Don't tap him too
and
hard, he has 1 HP.
Ak almost immediately like rolls over and takes up like a defensive position with like fear in his eyes, and he kind of, whoa, hey, that's okay, buddy. You're you're all fine, Ak. You're everything's okay. And Ak, you can see he's lying on his back with this look of fear, panic, and alarm at Vaughn. He takes these shaky breaths before, in a flurry, just getting up and throwing his arms around Vaughn in this massive bear hug. And he's a full size orc hugging a dwarf. He fully picks him up off the ground, and Vaughn is just, okay, you're doing good. That's it, buddy.
I'm just gonna
And
say to Eminence and Ori, well, at least we know he didn't do it.
Unless
yeah,
Ogbanok never saw him.
that's okay. But finally
Isn't he with
puts him
us?
down.
Yeah, I know, but that's less of a joke then.
Oh, it was a joke.
Yeah,
Well, this does seem to be going well, at least.
yeah.
Akbanok looks at the three of you now, having put down Vaughn, and you can still see sort of like the purplish bruising around the neck is already starting to fade as new circulation is coming in and sort of clearing up the area. And There is a look of recognition as he sees the three of you. Um, he seems to recognize you from yesterday.
It's a pity this is a
Hello.
dude who doesn't fucking speak. He could be full of good information.
And looks around the room in the chamber and kind of feels at his neck.
Yes, I'm very, very sorry to be asking awful questions as soon as you've woken up. What's the last thing you remember? Gonna pass him. Do I have a notebook? Does
You
anybody
have
have a notebook?
Aquanox pornography.
Yeah, that's all I have. I don't want to give it to him. I don't want him to get distracted. Do I have any other kind of paper? I feel like clerics have paper in their little baggies. Maybe. But I don't have that written down anywhere.
Inventory.
He did draw his pornography with something, so there's probably crayons in the room.
They are all kept out in the foyer in like the general area. He had a problem with eating them.
Let me see.
Uh, Finally, Vaughn reaches into his pocket and is there something you want to share with us, buddy? And holds out the notebook and like a small pen. And Ark takes it tentatively. Um, Sits down, crosses his legs on the floor, and starts scribbling in the notebook. And as you watch him draw, he scribbles out like a small image of a stick figure, um, and then kind of like draws lines at it, pointing to it, and then points to him. And then he does like a big X through the neck, and kind of grunts unhappily.
Who? Who did that?
Next to the stick figure of him, he starts drawing a second stick figure. Head, body, legs, arms. Kind of shrugs.
What's the size of the stick figure he drew in comparison to him?
It's smaller than him. Um,
Does it have titties?
do you ask that out loud?
Well, no, because I'm looking at the picture. I'd be able to see.
Yeah. Um, at first it does not, and then he kind of thinks about it a little bit and draws in smaller titties on it.
Does he also draw titties on himself?
Is this
does
potentially
Do we
the
think
not.
that
worst
this is
idea?
relevant or not?
He does not draw titties on himself.
Are you drawing Alexia?
He looks up at you and shrugs. Mm,
Is it area?
the exact same shrug. Vaughn kind of leans in. Auk, do you know who was with you? And there's a slow, tentative no.
But you did see them. You just don't know them.
He shakes his head no again. Kind of does like a grasping motion with his arms, and at this point you realize his shoulders and his triceps and his lats are so large he physically cannot reach behind him.
Explain the lack of wounds on the attacker.
They were behind you.
Nods his head.
I have an
Um,
idea.
he's kind of shaky, but he walks over to the door, which is closed, and turns and puts his back to the door and kind of motions as if to sit, and then starts doing like the grabbing behind his back.
But
They got you,
you
through
saw
the
them.
feeding slot?
He kind of points at the door and does like an open motion.
So you were sitting at the door when they opened it. Well, then why would he draw this as a woman?
He saw them. Had to have seen them.
I mean, this is his usual kind of drawing. Perhaps it doesn't mean anything.
But it is a drawing of someone who's smaller.
True.
How bad of an idea would it be if we bring him out to the hole? Saying this obviously directly to our friends.
That was
can
the
point
idea
them
that I was
out.
having. I was thinking more, if we gather everybody together, we take him out, we pay attention to everybody's reactions. The person who's like, holy shit, I thought I killed this guy, would probably be more like, holy shit, I killed this guy.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like that's
also,
not a
didn't we
reaction
just try
you
that
can
last
really.
time?
Yeah, they were also like told that he's dead, so everyone's reaction is going to be a bit holy shit.
Yeah.
Maybe he will point someone out though.
Maybe. So we've just got to
Not
get
hurt.
everybody back together in the room.
Ok, if we bring you out to the hole, can you point to whoever did this?
He looks at you and he doesn't seem to have a clear confirmation or negative.
It's worth a
While we're
try.
in here, since he does have 1 HP, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on him at 2nd level so that he doesn't just like trip over in the hallway and fucking die.
Yeah.
Step on a nail or something.
While Ori does that, I'm also going to either grab I'm presuming that piece of paper we found with the diagram on it, I kept, but if I kept it like laying on the bed, then I'll grab it from there. Where did you get this from? Did someone give this to you?
He looks at you, and then his eyes kind of go a little wide, and he immediately goes over the door and kind of messes with the handle. Vaughn, hey, I got you, buddy, and goes over and unlatches the door, opens it. Ock steps immediately outside of the room, across the hall, and into Ori's room.
That tracks.
And looks around as if he's looking for someone.
Ori. Do you remember Ori? You know Ori.
Gives like a small nod.
He now has 16 HP, including the one that he woke up with.
Awesome. So he's not going to trip and die.
No. I don't know how much HP he had as like an NPC, but I figured if I did it at 2nd level, if he has more than like, 5,
He's not going to sneeze too hard and
Yeah.
pass back into the afterlife.
I mean, he'd fall unconscious first, to be fair. Just would suck, because then we have to wait for an hour for him to wake up, because none of us have... Oh, we know you have healing. Oh, no, it's fine. Hopefully we don't need to worry about that.
Did Ori give you anything else?
Shakes his head no, and goes over to the desk, and kind of opens the drawer and kind of like reaches his hand in as if that's where he got it from.
You took it.
Nods slowly.
Right, so whoever killed you has it. More than likely.
What? No, he took the piece of paper from Ori's room, right?
Yes.
Oh,
what he's
I
saying.
assumed it was the item.
Not like
Okay.
the device that it's depicting.
Right. I don't know then.
Um. Oh. Shall we take him out to the others?
May as well.
This is could be problematic. How do we check their reactions against?
We've only got 50 minutes left. Provided everything doesn't go into full-scale chaos, I think we'll be fine.
Perhaps we should maybe choose who is looking at who, just so that we are paying attention to different people. I have my suspicions about Alexia. She seems. I mean, maybe she's just simple, but she had no reaction to his death.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean much.
Ori is suspicious of Dark.
There are some people that we can rule out because we know that they weren't here.
So no point looking at them.
But Ock also didn't know the person that did it. So it likely isn't someone that was here.
Or he just didn't get a good look at them. It's hard to say.
Yeah, but got a good enough to look at him to draw a picture.
I meant people that physically weren't here in the building
Oh, right.
at the time it happened.
Right. We don't even really know anyone that he wouldn't know anyway. Except for
Yeah.
the adventurers who we know
Especially-
weren't there.
Yeah, he seems to like wander around. This is the guy that wanders around the village and looks for rocks, right? So he would be familiar with most village people, I would assume.
No.
No, have I fucked that up? Shit.
We're talking to Ock, who's the orc who didn't like Ori.
Akbanok is the full-blooded orc. Herod is the tiny guy who
That's
Stole the
right.
hand axe.
looks
Yeah.
things. And, yeah.
Right. I don't know how I got those two confused. Those names aren't even similar. Ugh.
That's okay.
Well, maybe he'll be less well known by the townspeople, but
There is a potential for something too. If we think that Duck is transformed into something with your transmutation stuff, it is possible that whoever did it is just turned into someone else.
that is true. Perhaps before we go out there, I am actually, though, because it takes 10 minutes and we don't have a lot of time, I won't ritual cast it. I will just cast it.
Mhm.
So that when we walk in, I can beep boop at people who have a beep boop potentially.
Awesome.
Because it's just a first level. I don't
Sweet.
think I can cast it higher to make it go longer. No. Yeah. So I will beep boop that before we go into the room, and I will have that to see if, firstly, Duck is still being weird, and secondly, if anybody, I don't know, like reaction casts magic to seeing that he's not dead.
Sure. Does anyone have someone specific who they want to look for their reaction for?
I was thinking Alexia, but now I'm thinking Dark.
Well, I'm already being suspicious of Duck, so
You're
you can
already
be
looking at
suspicious of
Duck.
somebody else.
Is there anybody else? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with Alexia.
Mhm. Natalie?
I don't know.
You can
Because
maybe just keep a more vague eye out.
the thing is, though, is that if he didn't know who they were, like, I would look to the people that haven't been around that he potentially never met. But I don't know. Don't really have a good idea. Maybe if I can at least focus on the people that he doesn't know. So, like, you know, because I'm assuming, like, the adventurers are standing together. The people who came with us potentially are, like, in a rough kind of area. I don't think it's the Inventors because we've seen them throughout the day. But I don't know. You never know. Who knows?
Yeah. And if we're operating under the assumption that maybe this person can change what they look like, who knows?
Yep.
Awesome. So the three of you head back to the foyer with Valm and a freshly revived Akbanok in tow. You step into the room. Do you say anything?
Ta-da!
A whistle real loud.
Do you really?
I was thinking of doing like a loud throat clearing, but
Yeah,
whistling
yeah.
works better.
Yeah.
Awesome. You whistle. You can see that it is crowded in this room. Yana, Melee, Brinarv are all there, along with Paranel,
Maybe it was.
Quinn,
No, he's too big. It's not 3
Ethramal, Evelyn, Edmund, Hadrian, Tolvir. The whole family is there. Fourth Wind, the whole crew. And there is sort of like a nervous energy in the air, like almost like the outside of an operating room. Nobody knows the exact specifics of this scenario, but people know that something's up. And as you do the whistle, all conversation immediately ceases, and everyone turns and looks at you. And Vaughn steps out just behind you, and Akbanok steps out just behind him into the room. And immediately,
Can I say something first? Just before we
Yeah.
start? Can I change my idea of what we're looking at? Because I wanted to look at Ock to see who Ock recognized.
Aha!
you want to see who Ak looks at?
I didn't think about that before. I was more thinking about who else was reacting, but I want to see who Ock reacts to
Sure.
just before you tell the answer.
So immediately,
reveal.
as you walk into the room, there's just a wave of reaction. Some gasps, some cries out loud, some people meeting it with silence and stony expressions. As you enter into the room with the detect magic, you look to duck. There is still a slight aura of transmutation. As Ak walks into the room, there is like a surprised and alarmed expression, and then just a look of complete relief washes over his face. And you can see that almost like his eyes start to water a little bit with tears of relief.
I feel like we don't insight check enough. Does this feel real to me? Do I not
you wanna
insight check because I'm fucking
insight
bad
check?
at insight?
Give me an insight check then.
I'm not bad at insight. I don't know why I don't do this more often. I did, however, roll a 6. Plus 7 is 13.
13. As far as you can tell, it appears to be a genuine reaction.
Given the duck is a simple
You
boy,
would think
I will
if
believe
someone
that.
saw their murderer in a room, they'd have a bit more of a visceral reaction.
Murder-y.
Murdery.
Immediately stepping into the room after Akbanok, Emmy, your eyes go to Alexia, and you can see Ak walk into the room, and that same stony, passive expression. And her eyes kind of flick over to you a little bit as she seems to be like eyeing your horns for just a moment, and then looking back over at Ak.
Can I insight check that and see if it seems to be genuine and not her trying to hide or smother a reaction?
Absolutely. Give me an insight check.
Overcompensating.
Yeah. Woohoo, I am not an insightful bitch. That is a 10 minus 1 for a 9.
Ooh.
9. As far as you can tell, that appears to be her genuine reaction to this situation.
Fair enough.
And lastly, Natalie, you don't need to make an insight check because you're watching Ak. Make me a perception check to see who his eyes stop upon. 7.
I hate today. I have +6, but I rolled a fucking natural 1.
Oh man. That's brutal. You see his eyes go around the room, and there is waves of emotion go through him as he sees all of these people, um, his found family, whom he had to leave after death. Um, a smile kind of rises up when he sees Duck, um, almost like a older brother, sort of paternal smile as he looks at Hadrian. Um, his expression softens a little bit as he sees Area. Um, there's sort of that connective relationship between himself and Tulvir. Um, there's his eyes almost seem to pass over Alexia as if there isn't like enough between them for him to have like a reaction. Uh, and then he looks at the adventurers, doesn't quite recognize them, looks at the remaining townsfolk of the pot, looks at Dr. Quinn, and finally steps forward. Dr. Quinn takes over the situation and hands him a big old bowl of stew. A little cold at this point, but still passable. But as far as his reaction, it is with a 7. You are unable to ascertain anything that stands out. Um, and
If
almost immediately, people begin to crowd and swarm around him as everyone just, there is complete chaos.
like towards us to give him soup if he's close to us.
Mhm.
After he's done that and he pulls away before people start crowding, I'm going to tell him to just like let them know that there is a sickness which makes you appear dead when really you are sleeping. And that's what happened here. If he needs to explain this further, uh, don't want to paint a target on our back as people who can bring people back to life. Like, it also seems a little more genuine than, hey, we decided to bring back to life this guy who just died of natural causes.
Mhm.
It was a mistake on the doctor's part. Nothing to do with us. Just quietly.
Yeah, he absolutely. I understand. Thank you for that advice. Um, again, people getting up, crowding around Ock, hugging him. He's kind of one-armed hugging people as well.
I would like
He,
to be as close to him as possible because I need to be looking out to see if anyone is going to fucking stab him or something stupid.
yeah, absolutely. He reaches down to Duck and picks him up and puts him on his shoulder. And Duck just like immediately like squats down happily, and he's got like one arm around Akbanok's head just for balance. Um, yeah, even Alexia sort of gets up and wanders over. She seems to recognize sort of the emotion within this gathering area. Gets rolled over. The 3 adventurers, they don't really understand what's going on. Um, and you can see they're kind of whispering to themselves. You can make out one of them saying like, "Oh, did he die? And now he's, I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand either." And it's at that point, Natalie, that your hand comes back uh, slick with blood from within the crowd. There is a brief moment of panic and recognition before Tulvir's own voice rises up in a cry of surprise as she stumbles back. And there, in the middle of the crowd, just next to Akbanok, surrounded by everyone, in the Among Us pileup, is Volnbjorn with a slim kitchen knife sticking out of his jugular. And that's where we'll go ahead and end tonight's session.
Well, at least we know Tolvir does kill people.
Are we sure it was
Uh,
Tulvia? She just stumbled backwards, like in shock.
she's yeah. It was a cry of surprise of like, oh god.
Oh, right. Okay.
You picked
Uh,
literally the best time to go to the bathroom. I was trying so hard
yeah.
to like drag it out just a little bit more.
I'm so sorry. Lily was like screaming at me that she needed to be fed.
Totally fine.
Brett is screaming in chat. What the fuck did I miss?
So where did you walk away?
Duck just got on Ark's shoulders.
Yes, everyone's gathering around. Even Alexia, sort of recognizing the situation, was like emotional, got up and joined the crowd. Everybody joined in. The three adventurers were like in the back, like, "Do you think he died? Is that why they revived him?" Like this whole big hubbub and conversation. The remaining townsfolk of the pot were kind of clamoring around as well. And it was at that time that Natalie pulled her hand back from the crowd, slick with blood. And as she saw this recognition, Talvir stumbled back and, with a cry of surprise and fear, opened up a pocket next to Ak, revealing Vonbjorn with a kitchen knife in his jugular. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
God, impatient dog ruined everything. Don't even yell at her. She's
Um,
eating.
well, we know it wasn't Farmbjorg. I mean, we already knew that, but
We've ruled out someone that we already ruled out. Yay!
we have ruled him in as a target.
Oh dear.
Got 3 great bodyguards. You'll be fine.
You know, the worst part is when you were like, everybody like goes forward. I was like, oh fuck! Like, what are we gonna? Well, it's probably fine. People are distracted by the dead guy that's not dead anymore.
I mean, this is all happening like at least half an hour before things reset. And whoever
Yeah, you
stabbed him is in the room. So we can just like lock this shit down.
But you know who's in the room?
Next
Everyone.
session.
literally everyone.
uh no, next session we're turning this into like a fucking Clue. Has anyone seen the movie Clue? It's got to be
Yes.
someone in the house. Nobody is fucking leaving.
Just real quick. I know you said that we ended, but if is he like shocked, has a like knife in his jugular, and is currently still alive? Just for my own notes, or is he like insta dead?
He's like insta dead. He's like Among Us dead.
God
It's
damn
not like, oh, like a little bit of knife. It's like up to the hilt.
I mean, what if you just don't pull? You're never supposed to pull the knife out. Like he could
Yeah,
be
it's like maybe
fine.
he's currently choking to death on his blood, and we can like pull it out real slowly and heal it the whole way out, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable. Oh boy. Well, thank you for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks, y'all, for exploring this mystery.
Every time we solve a something. I mean, we didn't even solve a something. We
We
did a
solved
lot of
nothing.
something.
You know
We
what I've just
did a
thought
lot.
though? Hopefully, we have still kind of ruined this person's plans because next reset, Arkmanok should hopefully still be around because he
Okay.
didn't die in the way that he wasn't supposed to die. He's alive again.
You're not dead.
He's not dead.
Not
Mhm.
dead.
Got a case of the not deads.
I think you're muted, Natalie.
Oh, right. It's okay. I'm just adding stupid comments in every now and then.
Just commenting to yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it for us. I think we've got another session next week. At the usual time. You can see it down in the doobly-doo below. Once again, my name is D. I have been the Dungeon Master. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and do a quick round of who we are and what we do before we send it off to the usual raid. Train? Is it a raid?
It's a raid.
It's a raid.
It's been so long since I've done anything on Twitch, I don't even remember. Oriana, why don't you kick us off?
Hi. I am just trying to get the lid off of my dice tray so I can show you the dice tray that I got for Christmas. actually, was this Christmas or was this my birthday? The problem with having them so close together is sometimes I forget. Look, this is my new dice tray for Oriana. It's got a sword on it because she's a
Wow.
war cleric. And I put a photo on my Discord, but you guys can't see that. It's got like a thingy around it. It's hexagonal and it's got like 4 sets of dice in it, and it's really fucking cool, and I like it a lot.
Holy cow.
But other than that, hi, I am Lefson. I play Oriana. I am a streamer and a cosplayer. You can find me all over the internet doing all sorts of idiotic stuff. Other than that, I'm going to make this announcement because I feel like it. We have a one-shot coming up on the 6th? It's
Sixth.
Tuesday. Is it the 6th?
Sixth.
It's
Yep.
the 6th.
It's not Tuesday.
Thursday.
It's
It's
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, no,
It's-
that's it. No, the reason that I'm saying this is because it is not Tuesday. It is Thursday because it's a special one shot.
It gave me
so
a
sorry.
heart attack.
Yeah, no, I remembered the number but not the day. So we're doing a one shot on this channel, and it's gonna be fun. So I have like an announcement graphic and stuff that I will put up on the Twitter and in the Discord after this. But if you're not doing anything on Thursday, special one shot. I decided that it's one shot for my birthday because we were originally planning on doing maybe a one shot for my birthday, and then we didn't. And this is close enough
The
that
only
I
reason
think
we
I
didn't
can
was
still
because you
see it
said
for
that
my
we
birthday.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
You're saying it like we chose not to do it.
No,
you
no,
chose
I
not to
chose
do it.
I chose not to do it on my birthday because I hate my life and being old. No, I love my life. Not trying. I am swimming so good. I am having a nice time.
Just keep swimming. Just keep
It is
swimming.
a good afternoon.
I don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
What is this?
I love living. TikTok audio.
I'll send you one a little bit later.
Okay.
But yes, that's coming up on Thursday, not Tuesday, the 6th. And we'll be like graphically announcing this. We have a graphic, okay? But yes, that's coming up soon. If you have nothing to do on Thursday.
Awesome. Looking forward to that graphic and the one shot.
Did you actually talk about yourself at all?
Yeah, I said I'm on the internet and I'm a streamer and a cosplayer and I do stuff.
Okay, sure.
And if that ramble interests you, I suppose you should go look at the stuff that I do. It's always that cohesive and intelligent.
Deets are in the doobly-doo.
Yeah, this is on brand for us.
Yeah. Eminence.
Hi guys, I'm Nicole. I don't do a lot of other stuff on the internet, but I will be doing the one shot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't decided yet if I want to play. I'm thinking either like a fighter or a rogue or maybe a monk. If you have any strong opinions on that, I don't know, post it. Let me know. Contact me
Multi-class.
in the Discord.
Multi-class, one of each.
Yeah, sounds good. That sounds like something I'm totally capable
Fight a
of.
rogue monk. Yeah.
I have lots of really strong feelings about monks. You should be a monk.
Mel has strong
Oh,
feelings,
dear.
yeah.
I feel like now I'm terrified to be a monk.
They're like
But yeah,
good feeling.
It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. As usual, dox me, bitches.
Challenge issue. We'll have to see if anyone rises up to the request so that next session
No one
you can
ever
say,
does.
please don't dox me.
Yeah, no one ever does. Come on, ruin my 2022. It's been 2 days.
I
Ready for
could.
it.
Pretty uphill.
You could. It
Don't
wouldn't
be
ruin
like,
anything.
"Oh,
I'm not.
Don't do it, you will, because I could.
Yeah. And that was the last we heard. Natalie.
I also love that I was struggling with the sun the entire time, and now my room's just like dark.
Completely
Oh,
dark.
what did I
yeah.
do?
Wow, your webcam
Moved a hand and-
immediately
The webcam was like, "I'm gonna help you out."
brightness.
It was picking me up as a ghost, apparently. Anyway, I'm BurrowsRed. I play Natalie, who is a half-orc barbarian. I exist on the internet. I am DMing the one-shot on Tuesday, so prepare for that. I exist a lot. In a lot of places. I'm really fucking hot too, so... As in,
Yeah.
temperature-wise, I'm dying.
And also,
And also.
just in general.
And
That's
also.
not allowed.
Just in life.
But hopefully, I don't know, I was going to say hopefully next week we won't be, but no, it's probably still going to be fucking hot. Summer, I hate summer. Ugh. That's a Natalie. Ugh. Anyway.
Awesome. My name is D. I'm the Dungeon Master. You can find all my info down in the doobly-doo. I'm not really doing anything, but sometimes I post on Twitter. I'll be back next week with more Dungeons and Dragons.
Durgans and Durgans.
Dragons and Dungeons. How are we looking? Do we have a raid lined up?
We do.
Excellent.
I'd
Where are
sit
we
through
going?
a fucking 20-second Twitch ad, so
Bitch.
prepare for that. But we're gonna go say hello to Magical_Bard. They're doing a. It doesn't specifically say, but they are playing D&D. I'm guessing it's a one shot, but it doesn't specifically say. They do have a VTuber that looks very tiefling-like. Perhaps Satyr. I'm not too sure. We can ask questions when we get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Let us doot our way in there.
I have like 5 screens. No, I don't actually have 5. I have 3. Then I couldn't work out where my mouse was. Love that I told you the incorrect amount of screens, and it's very easy to remember how many screens I have. Anyway.
1, 2, 5. Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Number 5.
The usual amount.
But yeah.
Wonderful. Well, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week. Have a wonderful, awesome, exciting, happy new year. It is 2022. We've been living with some crazy times for the past 2 years. Hopefully by this point, we're at least a little bit used to it, so we can really make 2022 awesome. Not quite as uplifting and inspiring as I would like it to be, but it's a post-2020 world, so we'll do with what we can.
Yeah.
We take
I
any
enjoy
wins.
that the inspiration was we're learning to live with it, right?
Yeah.
God, isn't that the terminology at the moment?
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for spending your Sunday or Saturday with us here in stream, and we'll see you next week.
Bye 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 bye.
Bye 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 bye.